Oh boy, here's Larry. Hi, Larry. Fucking Niobe comic. Oh, I just demonetized myself.
Here I was at the start when we were in the back room or whatever it was, and I was like, "Look, man, I'm gonna watch my mouth. I promise. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say anything." And then, boom, right off the bat with the F-bomb.
there you go. I don't really mind anyways. It's not like a lot of people watch those streams in the replay. There's some people watching them usually live, some people watching it on the replay just to see things. But yeah, Niobe's been acting like an idiot on X because, well, he doesn't understand how to make comics and actually make money off of them. But it's okay.
Ah,
All right. Igarius is going to show up. Great. I'm going to get him in and probably just share one of my screen. There we go. I'm going to share the one thing I did as silly as possible. Do you want a Warhammer that goes 15?
I will cut you.
Honestly, I make that as an Omni mech. It's not going to be good, but it's going to be a 70-ton mech that goes 70. That goes 15. What, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You'd have 16 tons of pods on a 70-ton mech. It'd be terrible.
We just can't
But it
have
would be
nice
hilarious.
things. No.
I mean, it's not a bad mech. I mean, no, it'd be weird. I need to play it. But at 4,200 BV with a 4.5 pilot, I'm not sure it's gonna be playable.
I mean,
you can have, what, 3 Warhammers for that?
I mean, you've
that's the
seen what
problem.
I did with the Blood Eagle, right?
please tell me
Hold on,
it's
let
in
me,
its
let me
artwork.
go
It
ahead
has. Please tell me if you do artwork for the Blood Eagle, it's going to have like giant cooling vents on its back that look like the lungs of the Blood Eagle victim fluttering in the breeze.
Well, if you set up a partial wing on it, probably would work.
That
Something
would
like
be.
that. Or just a set of heat sinks, like a set of external heat sinks. It doesn't exist in Battletech yet, but I mean, we could invent something for it.
You know, speaking of partial wings, I found the
Hold on, Lord of the Wastes. Let me
doofiest.
go ahead and.
You found the doofiest what? Oh, you do have the Blood Eagle. Should it open in the right thing if I open it? No, it's opening it in my. I'll have to go through here.
So while you open that up, I'll tell it. So one of my homies and another homie were talking mad crap to each other about like dude's a Clan Wolf fanboy, but even he is like really tired of Clan Wolf. And so my other homie, who's a Jade Falcon fanboy, but like a smart type of Jade Falcon, deadgum, they're gonna have a really big BV. They're gonna have a really big BV Falcon v Wolf match. And he says, I'm bringing a Jade Phoenix. I'm like, cool. Which variant of the Jade Phoenix? So we find the variant he's bringing. I think it's one of the two that has an Ultra. It's the second, outside of the base mech, it's the second
the one with the Ultra
BV.
20. The one with the Ultra AC20, because it's got shorter range.
2,239 battle value, I believe it is. Jeez. Whereas the other one's 2,237 is the Alpha. Bravo. He's bringing a Bravo, I do believe. Well, I'm looking at the other Jade Phoenix variants, and mind you, let's establish the base build of a Jade Phoenix. You're like a what? You're an 85-ton Omni mech. You go like 4.6, and you have built-in partial wings. But you don't have built-in jump jets. Which all Jade Phoenixes, they have jump jets. Because what's the point of having a partial wing?
There is one that doesn't have
I'm getting to it. What's the point of having partial wings if not jump jets? Well, it gives you extra cooling. Okay. You get like one more point of cooling, but okay, fine, whatever. There is a Jade Phoenix that comes charging into battle at like 4.68 with its supercharger or something. But it doesn't even have a single jump. If you put a single jump jet on it, You would have a jump value of 2 with the partial wing. You have just enough to do that. You know how birds, when you see birds in the zoo, they like just gracefully hop up onto a limb or something?
Mhm.
You a chicken jump. You'd have a Jade Phoenix and you would be able to just do a chicken jump onto the ledge of the chicken coop. But it can't even do that. I said, well, that's really stupid.
And the jump jets are still a ton. Since it's an 85 ton, they're still just a ton each. So it's not that hard to at least get one on to do that bounce over the minefield, which is a good reason to have at least one jump jet. You know, or a jump next to your urban mech buddy, so you both jump too. You. Let's put a partial wing on an urban mech so it jumps 4. Silly things. Yeah, we do have the Blood Eagle Prime here.
It's the Delta. And what's funny is you could drop the ER medium laser it carries just to add an extra jump jet.
Yeah. That's the wonderful thing about Omni-Mechs. That Mechwarrior Online completely messed up. I'll never understand how Mechwarrior Online messes
Look at the BV and the
oh, okay, well, it's
the C-bill cost.
34 million? It's not that bad. 147 million for that ice hammer.
Something tells me I got to get out my Something tells me I'm going to have to get out my laptop and pull the YouTube stream up to check out the record sheet. But I'll just do that in the rewind tomorrow.
It's the supercharger on an XXL Fusion that explodes the cost on the ice hammer there. But I mean, at 34 million, what do we have on there? A partial wing, an XL engine, so that starts being expensive. An interface cockpit, that's very expensive. TSM, that's very expensive. Endo steel, but no fancy armor, so you're not paying a huge amount for your fancy armor. What do you have on there? 2 plasma cannons, so you cook any tanks you meet. 2 improved heavy medium lasers, so you blow up stuff fairly efficiently.
It has jump jets. I made sure of that.
You know, I've read a study the other day about double XL engines actually being efficient on vehicles.
Yeah, well, on vehicles, a lot of stuff that isn't efficient on battle mechs becomes efficient.
And the narrative reason for them being efficient on vehicles in this instance is because vehicles have to carry enough heat sinks to account for what is it? If they fired all their weapons at once, you have to have enough heat sinks on the vehicle to account for that. So if you have an engine that's going to generate heat when you're moving at a run or flank speed, which is what vehicles call run speed.
Yeah.
That basically means, okay, so why would I never not drive this tank at flank speed with a targeting computer and as many guns as I can fit on it, because now I've got a 2XL engine. Yes, my tank is very expensive, and by virtue of it being a vehicle, it's going to do critical hits quickly. But okay, turn my really expensive, fast or heavily armed vehicle into a bunker. Do it. I dare you. Let's go. I'm already halfway up the field exactly where I want to be. Let's go.
Well, that's how vehicles work in Battletech many times anyways, because you're going to get those motive damage that are going to make you immobile anyways. But
I immediately
put
regretted
Arden armor, an XXL engine, and Arden armor on a tank.
And an armored chassis, and play with the...
Don't think you can put a fancier chassis, though, on a vehicle. At least I can't in the app. Anyways, you don't get much here.
Lord of the Waste. I sent you the file via Discord and a private message. The Blood Eagle.
I'll check it out. I've found that if I get out of the Streamlabs screen StreamYard stream, because I'm on my mobile device, deadgum, I will end up accidentally muting myself. Because
Yeah,
I've
we
done
don't
that
want-
several times now and said mic check, and no one responded. So it's like, oh, I guess I do mute myself when I go off the air.
I mean, I'm
But
doing
is all
something
good.
real quick here. Let's just go silly.
Let's go silly. Go goo goo gaga.
How many tons do I have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to put a second rotary AC5. Oh, man, I didn't put them in the right spot. I want to put them in the turret. So 2 rotary AC5s in the turret, 6 tons of ammo, clan case, a targeting computer, because you know why not, and maximum 188 points of ardent armor, so that's 366 points of regular armor. Moves
Ooh.
4/6.
Ooh. Oh, he's getting dirty.
So you drive that thing in the middle of the field, and you just unloads.
Take the motive hits. I don't care. I'm in the middle of the field. All I need to worry about is did you lock my turret?
With the ardent armor, you get more resistance to those crits that can pierce through your armor and bust up your ammo and kill you instantly as well. I think
Nice.
this would be a very silly tank. That would be a very silly tank. 2000 BV. It is expensive. 2000 BV, pretty expensive for a tank.
Now
But
all
would
we need
you
to
use
do
it?
all we need to do now is make it look like a sci-fi tricked out Bob Semple tank, and we will be in business. Just for the meme.
The thing is, I mean, I've just done it now. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to give it to someone. I'm going to give that tank to someone in Vengeance. No reason not to.
Hell
Right?
yeah. I mean, if you got brand new mechs running around in the Vengeance era, then it stands to reason there would be brand new vehicles running
Oh,
around
I want
as well.
brand new vehicles. Anyways, from my... Oh, I'm in the wrong page now. I'm in my editing stuff. I want this one here. I mean, in the base stuff. No, I'm in conflict zone right now. I don't want to be in conflict zone. I want to be in the base stuff. I mean, I want like 12 new vehicles for the clans, 12 new vehicles for the warring states, 16 new vehicles for the Wolverines, and, well, corporates have their own stuff anyways. So they live and die by their own stuff on the side. And yeah, Real Mecha's Love is saying I can share some of the stuff he sent me yesterday. They're not done, but we're playing around with some fun stuff for the Wolverine Union, actually. So that's a lot of fun. We actually have some mechs now for the Wolverines, so we're gonna talk about that. And we're gonna look at it. We're gonna start the stream really with that. Talking tech is a thing that I love to do, anyways. So
It's half the fun of Battletech. The other half is
more
battle.
than half the fun.
Hence why it's called Battletech.
Exactly. Oh, it's having a hard time opening my. Okay, no, it's just that. Okay, because we've got. Basically, he came up to me yesterday and said that he wanted to help out. Said he might have an idea, and he was like, "Yeah, I've got the Macross more bubbly and more human-looking power armors, the one the Zentrades use in Macross." And he said that he brought them up, and I looked at him, and I was like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." And it gave me idea of what I'd build those mechs as. So we are going with something interesting. We also did a quick mock-up here, which works pretty well to give us an idea of what a command mech would be for the Union, with all the wires and all the stuff you need to be able to command the extra Bioroids, which are basically, just a meat puppet in a cockpit that you remote control with your own brain. It gets difficult, and most pilots will have problems with that. The rules, I've already started writing the rules for that too. Basically, if you lose one of your secondary mech, you take a consciousness hit on your pilot, because I mean, you just lost like part of your body.
Yeah. I mean, that's why proto-mechs suffer so greatly when they lose a location and stuff on account of that is the pilot who is like neural linked into the mech sitting here talking about, no, I just lost my arm, and goes nuts.
Yeah, that's literally it. I mean, in the short story I written already for the Wolverines, when the Jordan Amaris, the prince of the Amaris family, is fighting in the arena, when he blows up the other mechs, the Bioroid who's commanding the mechs, well, it wouldn't be a Bioroid, it'd be a regular human / Vadgrone that's controlling the Bioroids that are on the field. Whenever one blows up, the guy blood starts dripping off his nose, things like that. And when the fight ends, the guy's just dead because he just can't handle the pressure anymore. So he just dies. And as with most things we're going to have with the Wolverine Union, they really don't care. That's really what I'm trying to do with them. I'm really going with trying to make them. I mean, the clans were trying with the clans to make them dehumanized. But even there, I don't find that they went far enough, basically. So that's where I'm going.
Congrats! You just made space techno commies with furries. Space techno commie furries, otherwise known as an average Reddit.
Wow. I don't think the Redditors and the regular crowd would like the Wolverine Union too much, though, because I am making them evil. And not just a little bit evil, like very evil.
What do you mean? They're beyond redemption. No, I can't see myself in them. I'm not evil. My brother in Christ, you literally post on Reddit every day.
Strike is right there. Psychic damage. That's literally how it would be there.
Don't let that Wolverine clan boomer get wind of.
Well, I've made the way I've written it is really we're going to split the Wolverine. The Wolverines have split when they ran away. You're going to have the ones who became the Clave, which I might actually use with them beating up the Yarn folk and taking over the territory of the Yarn folks.
All 4 planets.
Oh,
still
all 4 planets. But I mean, it would be at least a territory rather than being like floating around space. And the Wolverine Union, the Wolverine Union originally is just a bunch of civilians. It's laborers, technicians, and scientists. Yeah, not even technician. It's laborers, merchant caste, and scientists. That's all it is. There were barely any warriors left.
That Yarn folk thing hurt, man, because I have had them used as a plot point in a campaign, a Mechwarrior Destiny RPG campaign before, and I didn't even know what they were, and I looked into them and I was like, whoa, these are the actual space Viking assassins. These guys rock.
I mean, including them in the Clave could be cool. I mean, the Viking techno assassins working for former clan Wolverine.
They are deep periphery merchants on that side of the deep periphery, because they exist on the Curita side of the periphery, I do believe.
Yes. The thing is, with the Wolverine Union being on the side of anything, doesn't matter anymore. They're going to be floating around everywhere because that's what the ships they have allow them to do. And out there, they're going to be the opposite of the clans in that way as well. They know their logistics.
Yeah.
They know how to set things up in order to set up invasions, set up quick resupply, all of that. So it is going to be special. Here we've got Jordan Amaris in his still good-looking younger years. And here we have his 63 years old mother. She's only 63. She only looks about 142. It's not that bad, isn't it?
It may take you still hit it.
She needs that.
You might end up snapping her hip on the first thrust, but you still hit.
She needs that space adrenochrome. She needs that space adrenochrome.
The way it works for the Wolverines and the Rimworld's Republic in Exile, the Alexander Kerensky, after he executed Amaris, had his scientist build a virus, a genetic disease that's going to basically infect every Emeris or every descendant of an Emeris, and it quickly degenerates the body. Like once you hit 20, 25, your body just goes downhill. And this is about as good as you would be at around 63, and she's probably doesn't have a whole lot of years left in her life. And in Battletech, people live a whole lot longer than 70. How old was Victor when he died? 120 something?
Yeah, he was just about 120 when he
yeah,
when he
but that was
passed.
because the writer protected him.
But he's not the only one who dies really old. Fox didn't
Devlin
died
Stone.
really old. A lot of characters die really old, except for the clans. But they've got reasons to die early.
We have one clanner that's still around from Operation Revival time.
Probably a ghost bear.
That
All
would
they do
be-
is keep old people alive.
No, he was a smoke Jaguar.
Oh,
Paul Moon.
oh. So we've got a few mechs set up here. One here for the Fire Mandrill because I wanted to have fun and make a Fire Mandrill Omni mech, Urangaru, which is a weird orangutan that turns into a human. It's one of those weird mythical creature. They're based, not all of them, but most of them are set up to be able to control Bioroid machines. So they are pretty decent there. And welcome, Collector. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
And Raphaelia really found it funny that it has a ER large laser in the head. But I mean, clan ER large laser only take one critical slot. So why not, right?
And I mean, when you're reduced to no arms and no torsos, you are still guaranteed to have at least 2 weapons in your center and at least 1 in your head.
Yeah, this
Very
one
hard
doesn't
to
have
take out a
weapons in the
head-mounted
center
ER
torso.
large.
It's terribly difficult. But I mean, this one's
Drone.
really meant as a command mech for Bioroids, 2 LRM-20s with Artemis, that ER large laser, so you can stay behind while your Bioroids are in the front beating people up in close range. But still, 4 medium pulse, it's also pretty decent. Especially with the C3I, it's going to make things nasty.
Nasty.
Alpha, this one also has a C3I. This one's more close quarters, though. Yeah, a Claw, 2 ER PPCs, 2 Streak SRM6.
That's
nasty. That looks nasty as well. This one is just because I wanted to be stupid, so I went with a 588 mech with 4 sets of 2 torsos full of improved jump jets.
It's a Gundam.
Is it good? No, but
It's a Gundam!
It's a Gundam!
And the C is made to control more Bioroids or a bigger group, and it's still a command mech with an RM-20, 2 ER PPCs, and 2 ER mediums. Here is because it's a C3 master, C3 boosted. The for Wolverines, the C3 boosted master can control C3Is as well, but a C3I can't connect to regular C3s, and there's going to be rules for it. But that's basically how it's going to go. The big C3 computer can be used to command smaller C3 computers, basically, because that's how the whole entire army's going to work. So I gotta try to iron things out a little bit. I need to figure out as well how to do the piecemeal armor a little bit better, because piecemeal armor would be very, very good on those mechs, because you put Arden armor on the head, whatever armor you want everywhere else. But right now, piecemeal armor is kind of terrible. So
I tried playing with that back in the day, man. Patchwork armor, and it's like there's really no point to it. I can't see a reason why unless I'm building a Franken mech, I don't really see because I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I could make the head just completely harden the head and then harden the back armor. And it's like, oh, well, even if you have one location with hardened armor, you're still incurring that movement penalty for having hardened.
You're not. Only if you have the Ardent Armor in the legs,
Really?
you get the penalty. Yep.
Ooh, that changes things. I did not know that.
Making an Ardent Ed is a smart move because you can tank an AC-20 shot to the head with an Ardent Armor head. Boom. I mean that's scary.
Like a mech with
My
a
boy,
giant mech
my
sized
sweet boy
motorcycle.
lives.
He lives.
That's essentially what it's running around with. It has like the Juggernaut's helmet on him. Is what that is.
I mean, now we have the CRX, OLX, RBX, and ZTX series. The Wolverine mechs, like I said, I want them to be as dehumanized as possible. So even their mech names are going to be strictly like production codes. When they get to the Inner Sphere and the clans, they're going to get nicknames. Like when the clans first invaded, they all got Inner Sphere designations. We're going to have the same thing with those. The CRX is your scout/light mech, 711-7. The command version, 2LRM5 and ER medium laser. I mean, it's not great, but you know, it's a light mech. I mean, 2LRM5s can be funny with 2 tons of ammo because you can have the regular ammos and just bring whatever you want for the other one. Funny stuff like, you know, mines or infernos or whatever you want. I mean, you can do fancy stuff. The line version, what you'll notice from line version to a production version, this one's not terribly different because he still uses clan weapons. I might actually switch those clan ER medium lasers for Inner Sphere lasers because most of the line units are built cheap. So rather than the good stuff, the clan stuff, that goes on your command mechs. The cheap stuff goes on your line mechs, except for the missile launchers. We just build one type of missile launchers for everyone because that's the one that's the biggest difference. But I mean, here you look, if you look at the crits, the difference is you'll see the difference quickly. XL engine, Inner Sphere. XL engine, clan. This one's built on laser.
You finish.
This one's on laser reflective armor. This one's on basic fibrous. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it does make sense that if you had to standardize one type of missile launcher weapon, that it would be clan LRMs, simply by virtue of them not having a minimum range. So even if they are meant to go to your basic line troops, now your basic line troops are still going to have all their weapons effective at close range by virtue of clan LRMs not having that minimum range problem. So that's really brilliant. I like that. That's brilliant. And plus, if you're still, even if I see it, even if you're still using like basic Inner Sphere autocannons, well, you can kind of get a cluster effect out of them by firing flak munitions. You've got armor piercing precision, so you can give your basic line troops a little bit of ammunition tailoring there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for the autocannons, like you were saying here, the standard mechs are generally going to use Inner Sphere weapons, while the productions are going to use the clan stuff. And yes, you get more diversity, but I've also started tinkering with an improved autocannon. Not quite as good as a... basically, it's a lighter version of the regular autocannons, but they're still regular autocannons. They're not Ultra and they're not LB. They're just clan weight, but standard.
I'll be right back. I gotta take care of a plate real quick.
Perfectly fine. The OLX series is... Okay, we'll go with the mediums. Mediums, the ZTX. Oh, yeah, I don't like this, but it works. ZTX, 45 ton with a partial wing.
Yay!
I mean, 698, pretty decent, right? An ERPPC in the center torso and 2 LRM10s in the shoulders. For a command mech, I think that works perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, on a 45-ton mech with ferrolamellar, it's not going to be a pretty thing to fight either. I'll be quite honest, this is going to hurt as a medium mech. The line mech is much simpler. Still uses the partial wing, the same partial wing, and same partial wing and XL engine assembly. Though it's an expensive mech in general, but rather than an ERPPC, it's a snub nose and a pair of claws. So it's meant to get next to your face and tear it up, basically.
Yeah, tear it up.
Get that
I'm not
ass, boy.
Yeah, get it, boy. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you can double punch with claws, but I'm gonna say that you can for mechs like this. And I mean, 7 damage is still very decent. And since the snub nose is in the center torso, well, it's 7, 7, 10. Plus, if you want to shoot those 2 medium lasers, you can. And yeah. Some people would say, well, why haven't you put triple strength myomer on it? The Wolverines do not have triple strength myomer or stealth armor technology, at least not for now. So that's a very good explanation why they don't have it.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, they don't have it because the OLX Heavy 75 ton, it's a big Heavy. Once again, more or less a command mech with LRMs, because that's how they build those things. Case 2s in the arms to protect even more. All the command mechs have a full head ejection seat as well to make sure the pilot survives as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that does factor in the cost. Doesn't change the BV, but it factors in the cost. If you're role playing, it's going to be a big difference as well. 469 mask on Arden armor, and it's got, as you can see, a lot of Arden armor. It is a tough SOB basically, with a C3 boosted command for larger formations basically. And to pad the C3 master, I put 4 medium lasers. So if you get a crit on your right torso through the Arden armor, it's starting to get hard, but it does happen, you're padded. So you don't lose that boosted master quickly. So it's a
Question: could we armor the boot? Could we have armored the boosted master to give
2,
it
3,
the ability
4.
to survive at least 1 critical hit per slot?
That would be 3 tons to Arden it. It'd be possible. I might do that on other designs. I mean, it's a very good idea. Thanks for bringing it up. It's a brilliant idea.
No worries. It doesn't, like, the only time hardening a component makes sense.
The cockpit.
Well, I won't say the only time, because, well, you armor the cockpit, you still take the pilot clunk that you get from taking a hit to the head, but the cockpit isn't destroyed. You armor
it's good for role playing, especially.
Yeah. If you armor a component like, say, a shoulder or a hip or any of your actuator bits, that's a worthwhile use. But if you're going to armor like a multi-crit slot component, it needs to be worthwhile. Like
compact gyros,
and that one makes
armored
yeah.
are great. They're better than
that technically
heavy-duty gyros.
Yeah, because technically a hardened compact gyro would take 4 hits to render it unusable. But you talk about, okay, well, I'm going to armor my engine. Oh, what kind of engine do you have? Oh, I have an Intersphere double XL. My dude, why? Why?
Just take a smaller engine.
Like
your...
That's going into doctrinal theories and stuff. Armoring a Gauss rifle makes sense, or a heavy laser.
Ammo there.
They can
Even
explode,
there.
yeah.
You can't armor ammo bins. I've tried.
You can't?
Nope.
Oh, no. Well, hell's bells.
The line version of the OLX, 4 medium lasers, so you got the same, amount of medium lasers. It's just that the medium lasers are in the arms instead. Inner sphere fusion, XL fusion. You still have the mask, so it's a 5, 8, 10, 75 ton mech. So it goes. And a rotary AC5 and ERPPC on each side. So it's
Make them battle armor scale ER medium lasers.
no,
Is
I
these
do
the,
not.
art-
I'm
is this the art
against
for them?
that. Yeah.
Nice.
See the 4 ER medium lasers here on the side on this one.
That's hot.
That's the production ones. I mean, they're fantastic. And the
Play
combat
factually
one,
counting.
2, the rotary AC5 here, and the RPPC on the other side. It looks fantastic. They're based off the Macross battle power armors. Well, battle armors. It's really what they are.
I realize that. Yeah, the Zentradi.
But they're beautiful. They're already beautiful designs, and it keeps in line with Battletech, because Battletech is partially Macross. Let's remember that. Here we've got the big boy, the 100-ton, the RBX series, your command mech with the C3 boosted. The big one, most of the big mechs will have the C3 boosted instead for the command mechs, because they're meant to command, groups of mech, not just a few little units. It's not very heavily armed. 2 ER large lasers and 2 Ultra AC-10s with 4 tons of ammo. Ferrolamellar, I wanted Arden, but I almost maxed out Ferrolamellar on a 100-ton mech. Is going to make Elkite kind of cry.
Especially if he uses LBX cluster
jeez.
shot.
Oh,
I mean, this thing is not going to die if it's on the field, but it's not meant to. I mean, it's meant to command groups of Bioroids and Vadgrones. So,
like a Cyclops mech.
it's a good Cyclops.
Yeah, a not
thought-
shitty one. Yeah, a not shitty.
Wait,
Cyclops.
I thought LBX was the cheapest, most effective way to counter LBX and Hardened, because they can't reduce one down past one. One damage.
Arden
is
armor,
still
you
one
need to do
damage.
2 hits to deal 1 damage.
Oh, see,
So-
that would just make me cry, because in theory, you could sit there and spend all game. You could pepper every single box for 1 damage, and then have to do it all over
No,
again.
you have to take off 2 damage. Like, it's 1/2 full, 1/2 full, 1/2.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Never mind. Here I was
Ferrolamellar
being
does
silly
not
again.
reduce damage from LBX.
Yes, it does.
It does? Jeez.
Reduces.
I was misinformed. I
0.
thought the only one that did was the ballistic reinforced.
Nope.
It's if you use the like the buckshot.
If you
LBX,
use
it
the
reduces
cluster
those.
shot, it reduces the cluster shot completely.
But the slug is the one.
So so you're telling me that my VTOLs, I should all make them out of ferrolamellar. Thank you.
Yes.
That's
So
basically it.
ferrolamellar ignores the 1 point of damage that comes from, say, 6 LRMs hitting the 5 cluster and then the 1 cluster. It ignores the 1 cluster.
And it'll take off 1 of the damage from the 5 cluster. It takes off 20%.
Yeah, and you're also telling me that if we shoot it with a giant anti-mech shotgun, all those single cluster bullets are going nowhere.
They just bounce off.
That's
with
why you
nothing.
want re-engineered lasers.
It's a
Re-engineered lasers
Gundam
are-
helicopter. Just blink.
Well, god dang, I'm gonna mute myself real quick. I got a call. I got a text to send off real quick.
Is it a
The
lot
RBX
of,
line series 464 on 100-ton. They don't have the Talon technology, because I would put Talons on there just for fun.
See, if you're not playing with broken rules, you're not really playing BattleTech.
hyper
2 rotary AC. Okay, before people say that it's terrible, yes, it is. It's not supposed to be optimized. 2 rotary AC2s, 2 snub nose PPCs, 2 medium lasers. It's not meant to be optimized.
But it's not.
And
terrible.
the engine, I need to change the engine. The engine's supposed to be a Intersphere XL and not a Clan XL. It fits, so there's no problem fitting it in.
But it's not terrible, because the rotary AC2 is the only real tolerable AC2 flavor.
Light AC2s with
No.
specialty ammos can be okay.
No,
With armor piercing rounds against
No.
tanks, it's gonna be nasty.
you don't even really need that
Hmm.
to smack a tank.
Well, you don't need
Anything
much to
that's
smack
not-
a tank in BattleTech.
Anything that's not a rack 2 for the AC2 flavor is crap.
I'd have to test the light AC2 more personally, but it is way too heavy. It should be like 2 tons or whatever. 2 tons for 2 damage at large laser range, where you can set up the ammo, would be
So
pretty
you
damn
get
good.
a catastrophic feed failure and your fucking rack explodes.
I mean,
we,
rotary
don't
AC.
we don't talk about that.
Rotary ACs, I mean, I'm okay with rotary AC2s and 5s. I've had some people talk about rotary AC 10s and 20s. I'm less okay with those.
Yeah, it's a little pushing the luck
What,
there.
what I would do
I've-
if I were to add that kind of technology, the rotary AC 10, you can only fire up to 4 shots per round rather than 6. And the rotary AC 20 up to 3 shots a round.
Man, I remember back when the mech design program of choice was get a copy of Heavy Metal Pro on a CD and turn it over to use the Mech Force UK weapons, and right there staring back at you, Clan Rotary Autocannon 2, 5, 10, and 20. And it's like, dude, a crack. First of all, it's called a crack, which is funny. But a crack 10, that's not nearly as bad as a crack 20. You have to be a crackhead to be carrying a crack 20. And I think a crack 20 only got like 3 shots per ton. So if you want to do the full 6-shot burst, you need 2 tons of ammo. You're going to burn 2 tons of ammo a turn firing this thing. It is the most inefficient weapon. I would argue the most inefficient weapon ever conceived for the game of Battletech, and also the funniest.
I mean, get
'Cause you
close
say-
to a drop ship with that.
Well,
And
that's
the
the
drop ship
only
prize.
the only way that a crack 20 with, and like I said, I think it was 3 shots per ton. I think it was 3 shots per ton. I don't remember exactly. It has been almost 20 years since I played with Heavy Metal Pro. But like, you would mount a crack 20 on a drop ship and just give it like 12 tons of ammo, and that's all your drop ship
Would it
needs.
be
So
more
they-
efficient to go with a light naval autocannon then? Because they exist now. They didn't
actually
exist back
actually
then.
it would
Like
not be. It would
20
not
per-
be.
You'd have more range.
You would, but
More
the
damage per
problem
round.
with the sub-capital naval weapons is that if you're targeting a unit under 500 tons, you incur a 1-up to hit. I think it's a 1-up to hit. You incur a targeting penalty if you're shooting something under 500 tons because they're designed to shoot at really big targets.
Yeah, the
It'd be
subcapitals
the-
get a
it-
penalty, yeah.
It'd be the equivalent of you have a main battle tank's 120 millimeter Sabo launching freaking main cannon against an infantry dude. Yeah, if you hit the infantry dude, he's going to be pink mist, but good luck getting the infantry dude on target with this big heavy weapon. Thus, the Crack 20 is the perfect landed dropship defense weapon, because someone rocks up to you and you slide the gun ports open like you're a freaking Pirates of the Caribbean looking ass boy and just where'd the Daishi go? Oh, he got hit with six clusters of 20 damage apiece. There is no Daishi. He's strewn.
Yeah, that's pretty nasty.
Sharon Swanson says if the ship can carry a tank, then why don't we put the guns on the ship instead?
That's part of the problem.
I'm sorry.
The thing
Wait,
is,
what did he say?
Battletech's not. If we put we can carry if the ship can carry a tank, then why don't we put the guns on the ship instead? In Battletech, since the ships are not super mobile when they're on the ground, except in the video games, there's a reason why you'd need a tank.
The only time a dropship is mobile is when you're using is when you want to be that guy, and that guy exists because he's in my local gamer group. When you want to be that guy and rock up to a 15K Jihad era game with a vampire dropship with 6 heavy PPCs and couple of other support weapons, and your whole list is that and 3 platoons of battle armor. And you win just by strafing the battlefield continuously with 6 heavy PPCs.
Ugh.
The reason we don't put the tank's guns on the ship, if that was the question, is because the ship can't hold a street corner.
That's
tank can.
all part, and the mech can as well. But in order to hold the city itself, you'll need battle armors, or at least infantry. But battle armors do that.
Roll the leopard around in landing gear and just use that as a giant tank.
Get a
federated. Don't do that.
Get a Federated Suns Destrider class super heavy siege tank with its trailer hitch, and tow the Leopard class dropship around with the Destrider. Or get a Word of Blake Rattler Mark II and tow it around with the Rattler.
I mean, I am working on. I need to get the Aerotech 2 rules. I need to find a copy of that.
We ran a Rattler game with Alpha Strike Rattler.
Because I need to make the Gundam ships as dropships, assault dropship. The way those are going to work, they're going to be like the Argo in Air Brigade Scheme Battletech. They're huge dropships. They take two docking collars on most jump ships. Not on a warship, on a regular jump ship, they'll take 2 docking collars. But you can dock other dropships on them, and you've got the firepower of a frigate class warship on them. And they're a lot cheaper because you don't have the warp drive, you don't have all the fancy bits. So those are going to turn into the standard ships the new Star League are going to use.
Call me Scott
Sphere is going to be like,
go there.
Do it.
Because the inner sphere is going to be like, oh, we need to do that too. Well, that's where the war is going to go. I mean, the Wolverines are going to be like just an annoyance at first. They're going to be very annoying, taking up like the Timbuktu collective, hitting the Marians and taking over the Marian hegemony. And then the Marians are going to be Roman Irish people having Irish car bombs. That's what I envisioned them as. Like,
the
Roman IRA warriors.
The Roman LARP is up. We're going back to our roots of being space colonists? No. Return to IRA.
Singing "Come Out You Black and Tan" in the streets while having some
Armalite song.
Having some mailboxes blow up.
So your dropship construction rules, I do believe, are in the tech manual because they fall under Total Warfare rules.
Okay, so
but
I could find those easily.
Building jump ships and warships is really silly. You're going to find the rules to build them along with warship weapons in TAC Ops, advanced units, and equipment. But the rules on how to actually use the warships and fight in the space is going to be in, if we're going by the new Catalyst rule books, strategic ops. But in the old Catalyst books,
I don't think I'll be doing
the
actual space
ops.
warfare on my side. But I need to do the Concordat Mark II because that's what the Rimward Alliance are building. Well, first they take 2 skeletons of original Concordat, bring them to Arthru, and then the people at Arthru and the Snow Ravens rebuild it to an actual ship.
Nice.
So that's what they do at first, and it's basically going to be a nightmare ship because the Concordat's already a very good frigate, right?
Yes,
but
indeed it is.
You replace the heat sinks with double heat sinks. That frees up some room. The armor is replaced with ferrocarbide. Well, that increases the armor value by like about ×3. It's the same ship, but you freed up room and the armor is bigger.
We just
with
made
the freed
it
up
a
room,
little
you add
bit
anti-missile systems, you add PD, all sorts of anti-missile systems around it. And I want it to be the test bed for some new warship technology that the Snow Ravens are wanting to, test out, but they can't test out on their own ship because that'd be too expensive and they risk losing them. So you send it to the people in the Rimward Alliance that you don't really care about. They're too far away from you to cause issues. So you're going to have ultra naval autocannons and ER naval lasers.
They just have all the money and they have all the ships and they came from nowhere. It's fine.
The problem with the Rimward Alliance is because R-True is where Flanagan's is located, and Flanagan's, they know what they're doing. And they've been working on jump ship for 300 years already.
Oh, yeah.
Since the Star League fell, they've been working on jump ships.
Since
and
the
they
walls
know
You
fell.
let
that
a
shit.
bunch of drunk.
That's
You let a
another
bunch
one.
of drunk mechs work on a highly sensitive jump drive, did ya? That's just fucking stupid, ain't it?
Worse, they're Irish travelers originally.
Well, that's just a fancy way of saying gypsies.
Exactly. I mean, most of the money the Flanagans have, if you read the write-up that I did write about them,
Gypsies, space gypsies, are fucking messing everything up, man.
basically every jump drive built in the inner sphere gives them some money because they've got patents on them. That's how they're so fucking rich.
Capitalism. Yes.
Through capitalism, not just the little stuff.
Not just quote unquote.
Hey, let's look at the maps that I've managed to generate. This is the original Ill-Clan trial map.
Ooh.
Okay, so we've got the our friends in the Kurita having been really mean to. Yes, well, build compact
Oh, you
KF
got the map.
drives.
Hell yeah.
Ken Flanagan build compact KF drives.
Fed sons.
No,
fucking
that's
deserve
why
it.
we have friends in the Snow Ravens. They can. Never underestimate the power of royalties. Exactly. You can make so much money on royalties.
Starstrike
Where's
says, can
Seafox on
Flanagan's
all this? Aren't
build...
they trying to capitalize on it too?
Star
What's it,
Fox
Danky?
says, can Flanagan's build compact KF drives?
Yeah, they can't. That's why they've got friends in the Snow Ravens. The Snow Ravens build our compact KF drives still. They probably don't want to sell that technology, and we don't have it, so we'll have to steal it from someone. Acquire it from someone. Yeah, acquire it.
Is Seafox still alive in
Yes.
this timeline? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going as Ogwild as Minis is in Resurgence with some people turning really evil yet. So the Seafox are going to have trouble because the way Seafox is, they're very decentralized.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause
They're also
problems.
very ship centric, right? Like they have all the their
Other people are
flotillas,
generally on ships,
their
so that doesn't help.
kanates.
They've got a few enclaves, ear and ear and ear. They're going to get more planets because a lot of the corporate alliance people, or the planets that are mainly corpo, are going to side with the Sea Foxes. So major corporate worlds are going to be Sea Fox aligned at some point. Not directly under Sea Fox control, but if you mess with them, it's the Sea Fox that are going to show up and tell you that you might not want to mess with them in the future. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're putting down. Yeah. get what you
So this is 3051 after the Ill Clan trial. After the Ill Clan trial, well, Clan Wolf and the Wolf Empire gets attacked by the Lyrans. They get attacked by the Free Worlds League, and they've got a whole bunch of Wolf's Dragoon causing issues. That's what the start of Vengeance is for the Wolves. For the Jade Falcons, well, it doesn't show here, but you'd have the Alinea Mercantile Union up here, the Vesper Marches up here, and the fake Jade Falcons around here. The one with Bussin G. Chistu, our great friend. So the Wolves, what happens in that period is the Wolves are going to lose a whole lot of worlds because they can't defend it because the majority of their military is on Terra and the majority of the military is gone because they got blown up. Slowly and surely, you're going to have people to go from Terra to the Wolf Empire to go and reinforce them.
Yep.
Anastasia Kerensky and Miriam Shaw of the formerly Wolves in Exile are going to go there. Icarius Ward, our good buddy that's in the team right now, is going to be with them. But you're going to have all the other Galaxy Commanders, or a lot of the Galaxy Commanders going yeah, I need to go and protect the worlds that were technically mine. So you're going to have people like Billy Sender, Niels Karn that are going to go, and things are going to happen to them this way. So this is what happens here. For the Jade Falcons, Stephanie Chistu basically takes everything that she can from the Jade Falcons, every mech that they've got left, build a single galaxy, and puts a huge waybill order to buy a ton of other mechs on Terra before leaving with a bunch of corporate people, because the corporate people are wanting to help them for some reason, to go and retake Sudeten and the Alenia Mercantile Union. The reason for the corporates are on their side is because it's pretty simple. Malvina Eisen took an insurance contract on the Vault ships. Vault ships are massive ships filled with money and resources. She took an insurance contract on that. Icelandic Marina stole them. It's not a military steal because it's not another military that's taking them. It's not another military that's doing stuff with them. It's just someone stealing your stuff. So your insurance contract, well, Lloyd's of New London would need to pay it out. They don't want to pay it out because that would be way too much money. So they send the Pinkertons after them. And the Pinkertons are way better equipped than the clans would have ever imagined. So that's the first hint that the corps are really, really nasty people when they decide to. When a corporation shows up with a warship, you know something's up, basically. I've got part of the Marina story written up. It's the basically the Lone Wolves, Lone Wolves, the mercenary unit, the Lone Wolves that were working for the Icelandic Marina. How they basically get taken out by the Pinkertons, because Pinkertons are still nasty individuals.
Even in
we traveled halfway across the inner sphere. We traveled halfway across the inner sphere just to deadgum get your Pokemon 1.5 mil edition cards that were sent to you accidentally. Don't care that they're Pokemon cards. We just got to get them all.
We're here for the Lorcana cards that you took from the convention.
And here's one of their major.
Timothy
Dalton.
Look at that. Look at that shit-eating grin.
He's a pyromaniac. He's a sociopath, but he's a nice guy.
That star is looking a little funky on his fucking collar.
Yeah, that's really, AIs don't like that.
AI on bullshit out there.
And he's married. Jeez. I'm actually building stuff for them. And yes, the general of the Pinkertons is Columbo. That's fine. And that's exactly how I'm going to write him as well. Always going with something like, my wife, she says. Always stuff like that. Every single time he's going to be showing up in any single situation, he has to have that Columbo kind of attitude. And exactly like Columbo, he looks like a complete buffoon until he actually does what he's supposed to do, which is be a lawyer that's a general. That's even more dangerous than an actual general.
Is this even legal? Is this a war crime? Not if I don't say it is. I'm a fucking lawyer.
Well, did you know that when you took Comnet from CGIL, you signed their terms of services? Yeah,
Disney
it says right here.
Oh, no,
you have to go on arbitration. Let's go, Disney.
Disney Plus contract.
I should have just been a space pirate. Damn it.
Next up, I don't have a map for that section, but the next big section is your War in the Reaches, which allows me to, I've actually rebuilt the Oregon Coalition here, the Oregon Trade Alliance, Frank Reaches, and Toria. All of this and this here, basically all of, all that territory here underneath the Federated Suns there, that's all going to be the Rimward Alliance. Pretty soon. Not yet, they're still ironing out the details. But the main partner is the Torians. They are technically the biggest and the richest of the bunch, even though Origa gives them a very big... in terms of rich, probably the Oregons. In terms of military power and manpower, the Torians. Prussians are going to be the real minor partner in that situation, but they lost the war anyways, so it kind of explains it. So it's going to be not huge, but I mean, it's still a decent chunks of planet, probably comparable, very comparable to your Raven Alliance and such. So gives you an idea here of how big the Rimward Alliance is going to be. I might have them, incorporate the Tortugans at some point. A nice incorporation. Randis is probably going to stay independent, but probably be more or less associated with them. But Randis is probably going to be sending a whole lot of people to help the Crusades as well. So there's that. Let's go look at what happened to the Jade Falcons and the Wolves. You can see the Wolves' territory has shrunk by a fair margin.
Not my beautiful bussin' boy. No cap,
your bussin' boy is, he's reunited with the clans at that point. So that's fun.
Yay.
I haven't killed him because I think he did the good thing. I mean, if you don't know if your Khan's still alive, I think it's a good idea to try to take leadership. But
absolutely.
Child kidnapping.
Yeah, at that point he hasn't done that in this one, so we're good there.
Yeah, that's an issue of the that's an indictment upon the author. But
what the Wolf Empire has taken, they've taken a few of the what's left of the Republic of the Sphere, basically transferred over to the Wolves, though. So you've got that little bit here, that turned into Wolf territory. They lost Northwind to the Federated Sons. That's okay. CAF is independent and will become a Sea Fox protectorate pretty soon. That's a part of what's going on. Lots of corps on CAF. So lots of people wanting to stay to be independent. The Jade Falcons have also shrunk quite a bit. They've lost if you remember, they had a bunch of little worlds in the Lyran space. They're getting eaten up, basically. There. So Ark Royal is independent. They don't want to rejoin the Lyran Commonwealth. The Jade Falcons have basically an agreement with them that we're not messing with you anymore. You do what you want. So the Calhounds are on their own at this point. And here you've got the Vesper Marches, which is a tiny little territory here that is not going to be there very long.
No.
There isn't many other territorial changes. A few changes in Endurian, taking a few planets from the Liao taking a few planets from Endurians. The Marians have expanded, but they've lost a few worlds as well from the Free Worlds League because they have a little war going on. That the Wolverines facilitated. It's that's one of their nice little plots to try to get things going. But the Marians have taken a few worlds. So this is after the Tamar Marches period. The next big section is your Kapan Star League War. Capilla, or the Kapan Confederation, when the fortress wall falls on Terra, first thing they do is, we're going to invade. They get all of their troops, all of their stuff, and they get ready to invade Terra with everything that they've got. Clan Wolf is...
our Capellans, and we shall have the wall.
Well, yeah, let's say that.
Yeah.
The Wolves are, they're in 3 years, they've had time to rebuild a decent amount, but not too much. They called for help from everybody that they have as friends. So the Ghost Bears, the Jade Falcons, the Smoke Jaguars, the Sea Fox. They've got plenty of friends now as the new Star League. So they fight back against the House Liao. If we look at territorial changes, which is the fun part here, it's not a big war with massive changes in territories, because most of the fighting is going to take place on Sirius, and basically it's a meat grinder between the Capellans and the Wolves. It's going to be a massive war. a massive 3 years war on a planet without orbital bombardments, without any major things like that. It's just going to be mechs and tanks and as much firepower as every side can bring. Just serious. So a pretty nasty meat grinder there. They still take, a little bit here, which is not huge, but they take a few decent planets. And the smoke Jaguars secure a little territory for themselves with Liberty, Carver, Outreach, Eckner, and all. Main reason they try to capture those planets, a lot of factories. They want as many factories and production plants as they can. Outreach is all busted up and messed up, but, the factories are still there, just messed up, so you can try to repair them. Aus Liao's also loses territory to... Who's this here? Who is this here? St. Ives.
What's that Pokemon? It's St. Ivesagmon.
He's the Capellans.
They're back. Of course, they're more or less a puppet of the Federated Sons. And their leader is an influencer, not she's not a politician. She's not a Mechwarrior. She's basically was a noble whose job was to look pretty.
She's a TikToker.
But she got the job.
She's hot.
She did it for the
girl.
She did it for the gram. Do it for the gram.
She did it for the only caps.
Gram 4.
Only Capellans.
Well, she's one of Tormano Liao's granddaughter. So she has a claim.
I thought only caps had collapsed within like a year because it was oversaturated with Canopian women. Like, yeah, I went on there. I tried to find my favorite Curitan idol e-girl, and it turns out it was just a bunch of Canopian women, and women from Canopus are really weird. They look manly.
Women.
But yeah, it's bringing back a faction that existed, yes, but it kind of makes sense. Free West Taiwan, yes, fully agree with that.
Oh, absolutely. The parallels between here and real life are astounding.
But I like the idea of having them because at the end of the Kaplan Star League War, Dao Shen Liao goes insane. Basically, Danai Liao gets killed because, that what happened when you're a frontline commander. You can get killed. So she gets killed. Dao Shen Liao just goes mad. He retreats to Xi'an. And he goes mad in Xi'an as well, starting to kill various nobles, starting to, do the stuff Max Liao used to do, the old traditional.
Yes, it's about damn time we had a traditional Capellan leader on the throne.
So the Maskirovka kind of removes them from power, puts them in a nice loony bin, and you can do whatever you want there. And
Truly,
the guy
a traditional
who replaces
Capellan
him,
story arc.
and the guy who replaces him is a former Wolf's Dragoon who joined Clan Wolf when the Wolf's Dragoon were exterminated. Who's a descendant of Kali Liao and Presenter St. James. So he shows up and he's like, well, I've got blood ties. Technically, I can be the boss, but I won't call myself Chancellor because Dao Shen Liao is still alive. And I think what's going to happen, and what I'm going to write it is, at that point, forever forward, it's no longer going to be a Chancellor, but a Steward or something like that that's going to be the leader of the Kapan Confederation, with Dao Shen Liao 300 years in the future still being the Chancellor. He's magical like that.
Like Kim Jong, or who was the first Kim? He's technically still the Kim of North Korea.
Yeah.
It's just his son and his grandson have been stewards in his stead.
Mm-hmm. Other territorial exchange for the Liaos, they get eaten up a little bit by the Taurians. They get eaten a little up by the Oregons. They get eaten a little up by the Francian. Because, well, all their forces are up there fighting. So, we're going to retake the worlds that are technically rightfully ours. I mean,
yay!
So they start retaking the worlds that are there. So Liao gets hurt quite a bit in terms of story, and I've got a full write-up as to why this happens, or part of why this happens. Where did I put it? I'm just going to share it real quick. I'm actually going to do a video on this. I've made a poll on my channel if people wanted me to talk about some Vengeance plot lines. And this is one of the plot lines I'm going to talk about. The Jaded Mandarin controversy. Ceres and all the big military industrial complex in House Liao space goes full China.
China.
They cut every corner they can.
It'll be huge. It'll be huge.
They cut every corner they can. They start producing roughshod equipment because nobody's going to notice if we do that, right? We're just going to pocket the money.
Isn't that pretty much the premise of a quick sell with such brilliant contraptions as the Hetzer wheeled assault gun and this and that and this and that?
Yeah.
At least with quick sells, you know what's going to happen.
Like I'm getting
if
a
you
wheeled
buy something from
AC-20
Ceres, you expect quality.
Yeah. When I bought my battalion of Hetzer tanks, I knew exactly what I was getting into. I was going to have 36 autocannon 20s that would have probably been better off as infantry field guns, but I did it for the mobility, and I paid for it. With Ceres,
Game effect.
I expect a little bit more.
Game effect. I'm just going to show the game effect because I'm probably not going to include that in the video, because videos I do, like usual, in universe rather than game-wise. Every mech produced in the Kapan Confederation between 3130 and 3150. So that's a whole lot of mechs. 1 in 2 chance of getting ramshackle and 1 in 2 chance of getting poor workmanship. And yes, you can get both. Those are terrible quirks, by the way. You really don't want those on a mech. Any mech in that period who has an ERPP.
I was just going to say real quick, I will take my useless ubiquitous and what's the other one? It only really affects you in campaign level of play. I will take those quirks.
Easy to maintain.
Any day over. Yeah. I will take that any day over ramshackle and
poor workmanship.
Poor workmanship.
Like poor workmanship, I think is a +2 on crit rolls. So you need to hit a 5 to do a crit instead of a 7.
Oh,
it's
my heart.
nasty.
Oh,
no,
any mech produced in that period. So even if you don't have those modifier, any mech produced in that period with an ERPPC or an ER laser, you have a 33% chance of your laser behaving like a standard weapon with the EAT profile of an ER weapon. Any mech equipped with pulse weapons or X-pulse weapons has a 33% chance of only give you a -1 bonus to it rather than the standard -2 because they're shitty. Any streak launcher has a 16% chance of behaving like a standard SRM launcher and still weighing the same, by the way.
Oh, pain.
Now the really nasty bit. Any mech produced with stealth armor in that period has a 1 in 6 chance of the armor not working except for generating extra EAT.
Suffering, if you will.
Yeah. All of those, however, can be fixed with technicians spending time to fix your mech. That's going to be expensive, especially if you buy pulse lasers from Ceres and you get the same damn thing that doesn't work. Would that explain partially why the Liao are getting trounced by the wolves? Yes. Vindicator 7L. This one is supposed to have a reinforced structure. But in my video on the Vindicator, I made that joke, and I'm going full on with it. 1 in 2 chance of the structure actually being an industrial mech chassis rather than reinforced structure. Same weight.
So you would, I was about to say, so you account for it the same way. You just end up getting the effects of industrial mech structure, which is good for industrial mechs, not so much for my My
Not
front
for
line
for a mech that's
assault
supposed to
mech.
jump and get into fights.
Yeah.
Any gun Omni mech, you have a 1 in 2 chance of it not being an Omni mech. It's a 20-ton Omni mech that's supposed to be a battle armor carrier, basically. So that's a really nasty modifier. I'm going to have to look at other mechs produced in that kind of area and that kind of time if I can play with those as well. It's supposed to be nasty, okay? If anybody's here in the chat that's a Liao fan, this is supposed to be nasty. It's supposed to show that in 100 years of Aus Liao actually being at the top of their game, things are falling apart because Aus Liao is no longer... They're at the top of their game, but they've been at the top of the game so long that the corporate people in the Confederation just don't care anymore.
No. I like Leo. I like the underdogs.
I used to be my favorite Aus until I read more into them, and I was like, oof, I'm less sure now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with it, but this gives a in-universe explanation as to why Aus Liao is having all those problems right now.
Yeah. Well, they've had problems in their bureaucracy even before the Eel Clan era. That's been their biggest problem is infighting, all the different warrior houses struggling to V for control, and then with the battle on Terra, incursions from other factions, and they just can't keep it up, can't keep maintaining their lines.
I mean, at some point, that's what happens.
Yep. They
The
stretch
next big
themselves too
loser.
thin.
What happened to House Kurita? They had a big
Yeah, I
thing
thought
here.
they were on top. Weren't they on top? Weren't they the
They had
best?
a big thing here, didn't they?
Yeah, the big bad motherfuckers.
Oof. Well, first thing first, Federated Sons, Aus Liao is sending every single regiment they have this way. Do they need to keep anything on their border? Not anymore. Take all of those regiments, move them against Aus Kurita. That's what happened. But at the same time, two other things happen. Snow Ravens, supporting the Clan Wolf is pretty hard for them because is there a bit of distance between them and Terra?
Oh yeah.
So rather than sending things directly to Terra, they're sending 2 warships. They're going to be able to send 2 warships over. That's a huge backup. But rather than doing that, they're going to put pressure on the Kuritas because the Kuritas wanted to invade the Ghost Bears again. But the Ghost Bears, they're going to have no pressure or little pressure from the Kuritas because the Snow Ravens are going to push this way. So the Ghost Bears can send more people down to Terra to help out our friends in Clan Wolf. That's the idea behind what the Snow Ravens are doing.
Ghost Bear and Snow Raven are like, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in there with us.
And basically, what's going on is the Kuritans, like they have their stuff in the Dragon's Tongue, and they were moving as many regiments as possible to their border to go and attack Ghost Bear. They get attacked by Snow Raven. Well, they have to start moving all that stuff this way. And then the Ghost Bears strike back because Ghost Bear still has regiments and clusters and galaxies. So they have to move their units back this way and this way and this way and this way. So they keep having to bounce around while they're getting trounced by the entire military of the Federated Sons down here. So a whole lot of little problems going on. And if you're astute, you would have noticed that there's also that old big lightish brown section that started showing up here, which are our friends in the Azami Brotherhood. Because the Azami are pissed that the Kuritans are basically oppressing them and being really mean to them for the past 50 years. And they decide that, we're no longer going to take it. Especially after the commander of the First Sword of Light kills basically their modern equivalent of a new prophet. That kind of puts them over the hill. So when the Auscarita signs the armistice with the Federated Sons, it also includes a huge provision to give that huge chunk of territory, because that's bigger than I expected, actually,
Yeah.
of territory to the Azami. Because I was looking at the Azami territories, and they are really spread in those 3 different provinces in 3 prefectures. And I said, like, okay, 3 prefectures, move, just separate. But that's a whole lot of worlds, and a whole lot of worlds that are kind of important.
Hey, Hayteen, sorry to interrupt you, but we have a really interesting question here by Jeffrey Cuddle Rousers. He says, any chance of a heat blade weapon akin to the Heat Hawk from Gundam could give it melee and fire damage effects while also venting heat like a partial wing? Ooh.
I wouldn't do the venting heat, but I did do a write-up on that when I was working on reworking the construction rules.
That's
Basically,
really
a
cool.
heat weapon is, you've got a hatchet. So it weighs the same. It weighs the same thing as a hatchet plus 1 ton, and it takes 1 extra crit slot in your arm. You could have a heat sword as well. Heat mace. Heat mace would be weird, but it could
Dude,
happen.
give one of those to like a Axeman, or you know what I mean? Like,
The
I
thing
really
is,
like I really like the idea of it, like being able to vent heat, and you could do something with that. But go on.
I'd have to probably rework the thing, but the way the heat weapon worked, it deals bonus damage. I can't remember exactly how. It deals bonus damage, but it generates an amount of heat equals to the bonus damage you deal with it. So
it's a good trade-off. Yeah, so you don't want to double the benefit. You want to give it a benefit, but also give it a risk, so that it kind of balances.
I mean,
itself
standard
out.
Battletech rules.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I mean,
That makes
I
sense.
worked with that, and I messed with beam swords.
That's a good question,
Messed
though.
with beam swords.
Sorry to
For beam
derail.
swords, what I taught for beam swords,
Ooh.
it's based off your engine rating rather than your mech weight. So the bigger your engine, the more damage your beam weapon does.
Yeah, give me them beam sabers, man. Yeah.
That would be like the final evolution of a melee weapon, right?
Sorry.
I know. I mean, I'm already making Gundams, so I mean,
Yes,
why not go that way too, right?
It's so hot. It's so hot.
As long as you don't have the ballet movement from Gundam.
There's already vibro weapons, Star Strike.
Yeah, they're not great, honestly. I've messed with them a bit. Yeah, not terrible, not awful. They're just okay. They're decent on the lightweight mech. Let's say you put a 60-ton mech with a heavy vibroblades, it's gonna be good. If you have a 100-ton mech, just put a regular hatchet, it'll be better.
It'll do more damage, yeah.
Or
Or
a
something
hatchet with
with
triple
TSM.
strength myomer,
Yeah.
because
there you
40
go.
damage is always fun. Punk.
Yep. Don't vent your heat. Build it up. Use that T-Semp. Fuck somebody up with an assault with a hatchet.
There you go. Minor territorial change. Dieron and CAF become protectorates of the Sea Fox, their corporate homeworlds, basically, their corporate planets. Cephal, I think it's a problem with how the map is rendering with the tool. There's a few worlds like that here, like Gillingham. It's supposed to be part of the Philadelphia Coalition, but it's not showing as it should. I need to still play more with that tool. It's a fun tool. I mean, once you know how it works, it's just I'll just show it real quick. Roughly put, it's a nice little Excel sheet.
And people got to realize that like space is 3 dimensions. So these planets are, the map is in 2 dimensions, but it's representative of like a sector.
I mean, it's I think
I've thought about that before.
Victor Steiner Davion on Twitter, he did an actual 3D map. It looks fantastic, but
Yeah, like I've seen.
But oh man, it's like, I mean, if you really think about it, like there's probably going to be like there's going to be like Lyran planets that are like, if we're thinking about it the way our brains think about it, there's there's a Lyran planet that's like right above New Avalon or something,
Right.
most likely, just because of how
Right.
space is laid out. Dude,
I mean, if
I
you
try not
guys
to
have
think
played-
about it like I would love to run a Battletech campaign where we're like using all the rules as realistic as
Yeah, like logistics and
Past-
distances, shit like that.
your
like
brain just can't
paying
think
for the
about
jump
it.
ships.
The next
I mean,
people
you
who get
could do
kind
it.
of messed up, Jade Falcon, they lose all their core word territories, pretty much, to the Lyrans. And the Lyrans are starting to push in the Elzors territory as well. So the Lyrans are actually getting back on track to actually be an important power. Isn't that good?
Mm.
Rather than being complete incompetence. But Trillion Steiner might
Wait,
have some
did I
issues
completely-
with Trillion
Did I
Steiner might have
completely
some
zone
issues
out
with
over
her,
Merrick?
Roderick Steiner.
Did I zone
Merrick's
out
are
over
doing
Merrick?
pretty
or
No,
have I
no,
gotten to Merrick?
he didn't talk about Merrick yet. No.
Merrick hasn't done much.
Okay, well, let's wrap- let's
retook
look at-
Planet. He retook Planet from the Wolves. Technically, this region here is the Clan Protectorate, which is Novacat. But they're still technically Merrick. They vote in the Merrick elections, so they count as Merrick. But it's the bit of Merrick that is actually associated with the Star League. The rest of the Merricks are not associated with the Star League yet. That's where it gets a bit confusing, but it's normal. It's the Merricks. What's better for the Merricks than getting into fight with other Merricks, right? That's how it works.
Mhm.
But no,
I didn't mean to
way I've
interrupt the Steiner discussion. We just went around the room there, and I was like, "Wait, did we forget about Marek?" But what else is going on with Steiner before we get too deep into Merrick?
With Steiner, what's going on is that Roderick Steiner is the one doing all the heavy lifting. So the general population and the general nobles are starting to think that he might be a better leader and a better Archon than Trillion Steiner is. That's
Oh my.
possibly an issue. For the Merricks, there's 3 Merricks contesting the throne. Technically, Nicole Merrick is in charge. She had that nice Resolution 49 written up and drafted up for her to protect her. Okay, she had that nice little thing built up just for her so she could stay in charge as long as there's problems. Her cousin, it's Kenyon. I think it's Kenyon.
Kenyon Merrick II.
Kenyon Merrick II, her cousin. He's like, I don't like that. I haven't put the write up for him yet. I don't like that because it gives you dictatorial powers. I don't like people having dictatorial powers because that's what causes
But
things
Kenyon,
like
you'll have them one day.
More fascism.
there you go. Oh, isn't it funny how life works? Isn't it?
Art imitates life.
But Kenyon Merrick does everything he can to get that resolution stricken because he doesn't like that resolution at all. Because he doesn't want someone to have dictatorial powers over Merrick's
so
case because
Merrick fighting
that's what
Merrick.
happened with Thomas, and
As
Thomas
per
was
normal.
a dickhead. So,
If American ain't fighting American, ain't Merrick.
but the thing is, I want it to be different this time and have all the fighting done in the political owls of power.
Okay.
Nobody fighting each other directly. All the Merrick troops and all that stuff, they've got enough to worry about. The Merrick all the infighting there is going to be in the halls of power, trying to outvote each other, trying to build alliances with other members of the
Elections.
things.
And
Elections.
fake polls.
And but no, Kenyon Merrick actually gets Proposition 49 stricken off.
Who's
So there
getting better
can
polls
be an
right now?
so there can be
Kenyon
an election.
or Nicole Merrick, who's doing better on the polls.
Well, you've got a third candidate. You've got Fontaine Merrick, who wants Christopher Merrick to have the throne. Because Fontaine is too old. He's too old. He doesn't want the throne. I am too old. I am tired, man. I am.
Yeah,
got
man, I
dementia?
just want
It's
to
like,
just want to eat my ice cream and sniff my granddaughter, man.
yeah, man. Yeah.
No,
What? Where am
You
I?
dog-faced pony soldier. It wasn't like this in the War of 3039.
You don't vote for me.
Sir,
you ain't
weren't
American.
alive.
I
You
mean,
weren't alive in
look
the
at
War
this
of
face
39,
and
sir.
tell me he can't be a scheming minister.
The dude looks. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
He's a mix of Christopher Lee and the Lannister.
And
in,
Hunter Biden.
Oh God.
I was going to say he looks closer to the one guy in the first John Wick movie.
That's
Oh
it.
yeah, the bad guy.
Yeah.
The stupid
The
idiot.
thing is,
fat
the
is like
dad-
delicious.
he looks like that scheming minister / scheming asshole guy. He doesn't want to be in power. He wants to be
Dollar
behind
Tree
the
Count
throne
Dooku.
and controlling. He wants to be behind the throne and control it from behind. Because he doesn't want the throne, because if he has the throne, well, if the person on the throne gets removed, well, he can still be there, just controlling somebody else. So he's doing that with Christopher Merrick, who's Nicole's older brother, who was supposed to have the throne, but didn't because he was fighting a war somewhere. It gets very confusing if you look at the Merrick dynasties there. But he's trying to get his buddy Christopher on the throne. So there's a third party there. And our good friend and diversity hire. Well, that's mean to say, but
That is me. to
Ricard
say.
Rob Dogo,
Oh no! Damn it!
the Khan of the Spirit Cats, well, technically, he can get elected
Cancelled.
because
You're
he's
canceled,
a
AT.
leader of the Clan Protectorate. So he is technically, right, someone that could be elected to be Captain General, like every member state.
He's got all the votes right now. He's the one polling like.
Well,
the
if we
highest
were
right
playing,
now.
if we were playing by CGL rule, he would win, or just based on a single factor.
Fuck it,
but,
just
you know.
make him win, but just don't write it retarded like CGL writes shit. And
That
that's it.
might be what happens, because the Merricks are going
You
to
can
all
make him-
infight
you
on
can
their
make-
side, and he's going to be
yeah.
like,
He's gonna be the one that's uniting all the
Look,
Merrick houses.
look, I'm the captain now.
Look,
I'm the
look
captain
at
now.
me. I am
Look at
the
me.
captain.
I'm the captain now.
Would
I am the
would a
Captain
black
General
dude
now.
from the clan? But would a black dude from the clans actually have a Somalian or a like African accent?
No, they wouldn't.
They
No,
wouldn't,
they
but it'd
would-
be
no.
funny.
They all
But it's
speak
fun to think
standard.
about,
All the Star League spoke standard. They all speak American English.
Oh yes,
essentially.
they all speak American English without contractions, yet use contractions like queoff and queenette. Which, by the way, if anyone out there listening to this, if you are like still
Know what
in
I'm
the
saying?
high school
Queoff, know what I'm
system,
saying?
please, for the love of God, do not say queoff. You will be made fun of, and there is
Queoff.
nothing I can do to help you with that.
Unless every single person in your
Yes.
group decides to do it, then the teachers are going to be really confused as to what's going on. And if they say
telling your
anything, you
kids
say
to
they're
talk like
they're crushing your culture. So stop
Hey,
using
Tinky.
contractions. Start using queoff and queen egg and af and neg instead of yes and no. Start doing that, kids, and actually scare the teachers by doing that.
You're probably going to see a lot of that when Mechwarrior 5 the clans drops, and
Hey, Tinky.
ooh, Lordy.
All Gen Alpha starts adopting clan speak into the Gen Alpha slang. Like
That
for real,
would be
for real,
wonderful.
dog.
I would so love that to happen.
My skibbity
Just to
clan,
fix
Queef.
just how awful things are.
Yo, for real, that shit
Skibbity
would be
Ohio
busting
Rizzler,
queoff.
Queef.
You
For
bring
real,
a
for real.
certain Ohio queoff to the party.
Instead of on
That
God,
is
it's like on
lacking in
Kerensky.
Riz.
For real. No cap,
Oh,
no
shit.
capellans. Shit,
Oh shit.
I'm risen.
I hope you get leprosy for saying that. on your channel.
Just combine Gen Alpha speak with clan speak. You're done. You won't even know what the hell they're saying.
Icarus.
He's not the only black
being
guy I've
silly.
done. Okay, I've done other black guys and black women.
I
It's
bet
We
you
okay.
all know you're racist.
Prohaska Moon
Oh,
needed
damn.
to be black
She looking
because she's
good.
black in the book.
Damn,
I wasn't
shit.
able to take off the earrings. I asked the AI multiple times.
Man, she looking
Hey, Professor.
juicy.
Yeah.
She looks like all she's missing is a spear, fishnets, and a wrist gauntlet that has blades and boom
Oh god.
device.
Wakanda.
Nope. A Yachtja from the Predator movies.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
But that's
Don't she
that's
though?
the thing. let's talk Smoke Jaguars real quick because I did have fun with them. Prohaska Moon won the title of Khan. She won it fair and square. If you read the book, if you read
Yep.
Ilklan Trial, she won the trial fair and square. She's the biggest and the meanest of all Smoke Jaguars.
She's
Right?
Gazgul with dreadlocks.
Yes.
But you guys see this little symbol here in the corner? You see that little
Yes.
symbol in the corner? That's the Fidelis.
Yeah, the
Fidelis
Ooh,
are
Fidelis.
not big,
Please,
mean, and scary.
Please stop with your Canadian French pronunciation.
Please don't call it fiddle.
Fidelis.
Yeah,
Okay.
fiddle. You don't want.
I'm just
you don't
saying
wanna
it
say
in Latin
fiddle.
like it's supposed to. You
It's
know,
not fiddle. You don't fiddle with Jaguars, bro.
I'm just saying it in Latin like it's supposed to, but it's okay.
Semper Fidelis.
That's right. Simplified.
But they're not supposed to be the big, tough, mean motherfuckers. They're supposed to be the stealthy,
Paul Moon.
intelligent, badass
High
super
IQ.
soldiers that go in the back and do all the crazy stuff.
She's an elemental. Was she?
She is an
born
elemental.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, she got that
Elemental
good
and
battle armor
Mechwarrior
behind
because
her.
all
I gotta
Fidelis,
be
all
honest.
Fidelis, yeah, let's call
That's
them
a
that.
good. That's a good piece of art of her. Like I like the way that came out. That looks really good.
But she's like most Fidelis people. She is trained to do both. She can pilot battle armor.
could
She
be a
can pilot
mech.
battle mechs.
Dude, that's
She generally is in her gnome battle armor, but she can pilot a Marauder 2C. Well, no, a Marauder 2C. Let's be clear.
cool. Yeah, the Marauder 2 C variant, not Marauder
Yeah.
2C. I got
So
you.
hey, quick question on the
Mhm.
quick question on the Fidelis.
Mm-hmm.
Fidelis. Now you got me messing it up. The Fidelis. Where does it differ from? Because I had read Surrender Your Dreams, and I knew that they were going to change the ending because in Surrender Your Dreams, it ends with the Republic of the Sphere still stands. But where we're going now is the Republic of the Sphere doesn't stand. So what changed between that? Is Paul Moon still alive and or
I am not sure what I'm going to do with Paul Moon at this point.
He is still alive. He left with those Fidelists that decided to not become part of
Yeah,
Clan Wolf or the Clan
Yeah.
Smoke Jaguar. It talks about in Children of Kerensky.
I have a
okay.
feeling that they might not be around for long. Let's say.
Well,
No.
didn't
Because I mean,
they-
if you've
so-
got nobody
so
backing you
Fidelis-
up, the major we have to remember in Vengeance as well. The other major Republic remnant, which is the First Army Group, they joined the Star League
Oh,
and
yeah,
become
that's
Clan Thunderbore. So
What about the ones that were in New Terra? The ones that were just outside of the
they'd
shield
probably
before it fell?
probably get adopted or something along those lines. There is still
Um,
that I need to work with.
The ones at New Terra are the ones who were waiting on Clan Wolf to win the Elk Clan trial. To
Right.
the ones who the Fidelists that were not waiting on that left with Paul Moon because
Got it.
he was basically passing the torch and saying, no, I just want the promise from you. My time is done. I can't be a part of this world, this new world that's
Yeah, he wanted to
Being formed.
retire, and he wanted to just say, "Fuck this, I'm done."
plus he's like 135.
He's older than Victor Davion.
Right.
He was around 135 years old and just being
Yeah.
kept alive by all sorts of drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it mentions in the novel, like he gives his like farewell address that the Fidelists are freed from their servitude to the Republic, and they're free to pursue their own destiny. And then
Yeah.
in the end, he gives the Smoke Jaguar of remembrance to this other guy, and then Paul Moon just kind of dies. The drugs wear off. He refuses them, and his last act is to hand over the Smoke Jaguar of Remembrance. You're the Khan now. Have fun. Dies.
No, they
Gotcha.
retconned that.
I mean, that would make more sense in Vengeance. I'll be honest with you, that would make more sense in Vengeance.
The thing is that he needed to be alive long enough to be on New Earth to get that promise from Alaric, and also to give Alaric the secrets to get past the SDS systems in the Sol system that the Republic had, like the Artemis network and also the SDS stuff on
the planets
Terra.
and moons. Yeah, the big fucking rattlers. Yeah, that's part of the SDS.
So him just handing some guy a book and going, "You're the Khan now," going,
It was more symbolic.
it was a symbolic thing, but it wouldn't make sense for Vengeance.
We'll have to imagine what's going to happen with that. I mean, I've got an idea of where Smoke Jaguar is going, but where they came from, I might still need to workshop it and work it around. That's why we have these kinds of impromptu meetings on YouTube. We have all sorts of people tag. We all have all sorts of people talk, which is
that
what
was
this is for.
that was why at one point I was suggesting that one of the worlds that the Smoke Jaguars get,
Be new
Alaric.
hurt.
Alaric gives them New Earth to as a.
I mean, it wouldn't be
symbol
much of a
things.
problem. Where is New Earth? Let's look at the map. There's New Earth, New Earth. It's a bit far from their current occupation zone, let's say, but I mean, they could have an enclave on it like the clans used to do. You know, you have 50% of the planet is one people, 50% is the other one. That would make sense. If they want to have that here, wouldn't be a problem. I would be okay with that too. The Republic of the Sphere in exile. Well, part of the problem is that the Republic of the Sphere was a Clan Wolverine plot to begin with in Vengeance. Devlin Stone is a Wolverine agent from the start. His goal was to weaken the entire Inner Sphere, and he succeeded fairly well. So
Republic
that makes
of
him
the Sphere in exile.
Yeah, there's already a republic in exile, so we don't need two republics in exile.
Two republics in exile, bro. Two of them. Do it.
Well, what
I'm
would
kidding.
happen probably is people who are more on the side of like Devlin Stone and some of his underlings would be like, yeah, we've got a place where we can go and rebuild so we can fight the clans. And they go to the Wolverine Union with all the other factions that just got
Unburdened
massacred.
by what has been.
That yellow bit by itself got to go. That's bugging the shit out of me.
Formahalt and Northwind. I mean, that'd be a whole lot of worlds that the Curitan would have to lose to the
Just
to the
give them
Federated
to
Sons.
just give them to the
Sea Fox.
Cretans for once. I mean, they've already been part of the Capellans, part of the Federated Sons. You might as well give it to the Koreans. Let the Koreans have a turn with the North. And then it passes around to Steiners.
Yeah. I don't
And
know
then
what's going to
pass-
happen with that, so let's not go that far. Let's go back to our good friend Prohaska Moon. She's the biggest, she's the toughest, but she's the opposite of what the Fidelists
She's the war
basically
boss.
mean they're supposed to be. So what she does, she gets the title of Khan of Smoke Jaguar. They barely have any mechs. They've got a bunch of battle armors. They've got, almost nothing. Through all the salvage they're able to get and everything, they've got tree clusters and a few garrison units as well. That's basically what they're able to rebuild. So what she starts doing, calls trials of possession against the Wolves and the Jade Falcons to get equipment from them. Alaric Ward turns around and says, bitch, no. Because he's the Elcon, he can do that. That's his ability. He can use contractions too because he's the Hilkan now.
He says,
I do what I want.
He says, bitch, no. She goes, bitch, what?
Who's the Ilkhan again? Can you remind me who's the Ilkhan?
It's Alaric.
It's BB. So shut up. Then, well, since that didn't quite work, well, she decides to raid Dieron to get equipment from Dieron and RPA, Renault Peugeot Automotive, which are building mechs. Problem is, the mechs they're building, they're for Clan Wolf.
Beltalona.
So she steals stuff from them. She comes back with them. She's all proud. Chance Vicker shows up and says,
Nobody likes a barracks thief.
So things keep getting worse and worse.
Supply. Who stole the shit from Supply? It's not stealing. It's acquisition.
So this keeps going. Our next big plan was to raid Clan Ghost Bear and steal equipment from the Ghost Bears.
God damn it.
And at that
It's how it
point,
goes. It's real.
at that point, the lore master shows up and says, "You stop now. No, you stop doing that. You sit down, and you let us deal with things." She's not happy, calls a trial of grievance, and things keep getting worse for her. And at some point, she gets put in her place. When she gets put in her place during the Capellan Star League War, the main thing she does is commanding the garrisons, protecting stuff, defending units. And she starts to learn, like, what am I supposed to actually do as a Fidelis? What am I actually supposed to do as a Khan? And not just be the biggest and the meanest of the bunch. Is there a better way for me to do it? And that's where she's going to go. This is the actual.
No.
This is the actual power in Clan
Hey,
Smoke
look
Jaguar.
at that. Denzel looking blade looking dude.
No,
It was
he's
that or
Michael
Chris Tucker.
Nope.
Krista! No! I see it! Damn it! No!
I have to go. I should have it in my
You are
AI
all
generated stuff.
uncultured.
I mean,
It's
those
Michael
were
Jai
the.
White from Spawn.
That is accurate as
Yeah,
well.
looks like him too, yeah.
I mean, this
Man,
were,
they
those,
all
were
look
the,
the same.
those were the last ones I generated. First ones I really wasn't happy with because the cigarette never
Yeah.
fit, except for this one.
Hey,
It
look,
didn't look
it's
that great.
Trayvon.
Yeah. Ear, same kind of thing, and this one looked way too much like Chris Tucker.
No, the top left one. Chris
But ear,
Rock
I mean, the choices for what people were saying was either one of the two at the bottom. This one looks too much like Jesus, so we went with this one.
I mean, you know,
Yep.
it's not
Black
bad.
Jesus. So this
Black
is the
Jesus
real
Chris
power.
Tucker.
The real power for the Fidelis and the Smoke Jaguars. Lore master of the clan. He's an actual spy. You know, super spy, basically. He's the he's your mix of James Bond and
Oh, he's
Nick
like,
Fury.
what's that fucking movie where,
Triple X.
no,
No?
it was a Tom Clancy movie that came out on Amazon where the black dude plays James Carter. Fucking
Yeah,
the
that
CIA
works.
CIA Spec Ops Special Forces dude works
Yeah.
for like the secret government or whatever.
Like you have to remember.
Without remorse, that movie.
No
The dude who
remorse?
played in that movie. Yeah, yeah.
I might actually want to watch it then. Might be cool. He is an
movie is
ASF
this?
pilot, so he's 5'5". So he's a tiny little dude made out of muscle, and he is going to beat the shit out of that 8'3" woman in a fight. Because not only does he know fighting, he knows the secret fighting techniques, basically.
Michael B. Jordan. He looks like Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, yes,
Yeah.
who is an half decent actor. I'm honestly surprised
he's
he
a
doesn't
good
get
actor.
better.
He's a really
He
good
doesn't
actor.
get better. I'm surprised he doesn't get better roles. I mean, he got screwed
It's
by
the
Marvel,
politics. He doesn't because they
Yeah, he doesn't
shit on
play
him for
politics.
his politics because he doesn't play the politics.
but I mean, what really is really terrible is that he got messed up by Marvel by being a Killmonger, And when Chadwick Boseman died, they should have just been like, okay, you're the new Black Panther.
They should have, but they
They
didn't.
just have done that, and Black Panther 2 would have been a fantastic movie at that point.
Like I said, politics.
Didn't he kind of die in Black Panther? Well, then again, it is Marvel. They do have a way of bringing people back to life
Yeah.
when they need them.
I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, you just recast. It's not hard. Like, never mind. He's a guy who's an ASF pilot, generally pilots a Turk, but he can also pilot dropships, small craft, jump ships. He does what you need him to do, basically. And during the Battle of Terra, he was infiltrated in Beta Galaxy, the galaxy of Alaric Khan, as a bondsman to leak information and do that kind of stuff. He is a super spy. That's his role. And he's lore master of Clan Smoke Jaguar. And Icarius read it. I've got more edits to do to it. Basically, I've done a primer for the politics, or at least the big political things in Vengeance, as a meeting between the three lore masters: Aberdeen Meta of the Wolves, Marv Rorschach of the Jade Falcon, and Josh Worth of the Smoke Jaguars. And it starts with a very it gives you an idea of how Josh Worth is going to behave. Aberdeen Meta tells him that smoking will kill him because he's like that. And the response is, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. Everybody shuts up. All the junior member of the watch are panicking, and all the tree lore masters start laughing because they know he's joshing on them. And throughout the whole thing, he is Freebirth. He is Freebirth born and raised, so he acts like a Freebirth.
Oh, that's
in most of the
interesting.
things.
That's interesting.
So he's
so Freebirth, but is he of clan bloodline? Even though
he
he's
is a
Freebirth?
double clan bloodline. His mother and father were aerospace fighter phenotypes. So he is, he is an aerospace fighter
he's
phenotype.
genetically just as top as any pure, or what do you call it, trueborn.
I mean, it's the same thing that's going to happen with Alaric's kids. Alaric's kid with Chance Vickers.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're both from Mechwarrior bloodlines.
Yeah.
So they're technically Mechwarriors. They've got the same phenotype and the same genetic material.
Are you going to make him a fucking Gary?
So
Stu,
how did
like a male Mary Sue?
He better not.
How did if this guy's mom is an aerospace pilot and his dad is also an aerospace pilot, how did my man's here get away without looking like Yakub, having a big old head?
God damn it, man! Buff Kevin Hart.
But in all seriousness, how did he get away with having a proportionally sized human head?
Because the
And not a
AI
big
can't
old
do that
aerospace
properly.
Oh, saved by the AI.
Saved by the AI.
Because Professor didn't put in Mr. Magoo.
I always thought aerospace pilots were more all like Mr.
Put Gumby in the prompt, just and
or
plus
the
head
Kazoo.
like Gumby.
They're supposed to look like anime characters. I should have used anime aesthetics rather than going with the guy who created.
Put Akira Toriyama, make him look like a Dragon Ball character, like a black.
The way I did a lot of those characters is whenever I run something, I use different prompts, and what I do, I run different artists through it. So it generates still a similar kind of style, but it goes a little bit wilder. Here I went with Warren McDuffie, the guy who created Static Shock and all the milestone stuff, who's great at doing black characters. That's why I went with him. He actually makes them look like black people rather than either super idealized or terrible. You know, I mean, if you go with Rob Liefeld, I might have ended with something a bit different, let's say. Yeah, so that's why it's fun to mess with the AI I'm using, Night Cafe, because I can put that in the prompts. There's a prompt for American Comic that I can use. It's a pre-built prompt that has 2 fairly known artists in it, but you just swap those names and you can generate all sorts of fun things in the long run. I mean, I've got some if you're a little bit in the know, Christina Buhalen. That's a Jay Lee character. That's when Jay Lee makes a woman, she makes them look like women. You know, better than anything CGL puts out.
She looks
Hey,
like a
look,
slight.
it looks
She looks
like
like
a
a
woman.
slightly more. She looks like a slightly more Asian. She looks like Christina Hendrick if Christina Hendrick was Asian, but still
That
had
was-
red hair.
That was part of the goal for her character. I mean, okay, like I said on Twitter
She
to
got some
Mage
nice
Leader,
tits.
like I said to Mage Leader on Twitter once, I'm trying to make Battletech sexy again. That's part of my goal.
Success. You succeeded.
What, you don't want it to be a Western noir cowboy biopic type thing?
I mean, you could play around if I managed to find the right
You don't want it to
prompts.
be
There are some characters
inclusive?
I would do that.
Huh? You don't want it to be inclusive?
All right, dude, have you seen the characters we've just been looking at? And you're gonna see another one pretty soon. Okay. For lambs, I'm rebuilding the lamb tech. There's clan lamb tech that's going to be available. Requiring you to
Clams.
have clams. Requires a partial wing. Requires extra slot in your critical and extra weight. But the rules are going to be a little bit more built in, and you're going to be able to build them a little bit more.
Collector, you laugh until you see the clam roll up with the crack.
Here's your lore master.
Clam crack 20.
Here's
Oh,
your
he
lore
looks like a
master
business
for
man.
Clan Jade Falcon.
Dude, that green suit. That green suit is a vibe right there, my son.
That looks like a brown David Vivas.
I mean, I went with Indian
Who-
for the Rorschach bloodline. I went with Indian look. All the other AI generated. I mean, I'm gonna go back to my AI generated images because I want.
Do you know what you're
I want to show you guys.
what you're talking about?
I want to show you guys what the other options were.
What app do you use? What's the app?
Night Cafe.
Not Cafe.
You get a certain number of credits per day. You can buy extras, but with the free ones, I'm at 184, and you can see that I've been generating stuff for a while now. When you know
So
what
the
you're
one
doing, it doesn't cost much.
The one you went with looks like the guy who plays Grand Moff. What's his name in Mandalorian
Grand Moff
/ the
Gideon?
lawyer. Yes, he looks like that. That's what you settled on. You could have gotten Indian Harry Potter in a green suit. No, not
This
him.
looks like an actual. This looks like an actual Indian actor. There's an
He
Indian
looks
actor
like
that
he looks
that
like
way.
he would be my attorney.
Yes.
He looks like an attorney from New Delhi. That is Indian Harry Potter / David Hogg. That's who he is.
Yes, that is sad but true. I mean,
Call me
This one
Metallica because it
is-
is sad but true.
this one is not too bad. I kind of like that one. That's the other one I was gravitating towards. But people
Great
voted for that
grandson
one.
of Gandhi, but that one is pretty good.
Yeah.
This one, he looks like the serious dude whose Marv Rorschach is supposed to be. Basically, in the triumvirate of the clan lore masters, he's the PR guy. He's the guy that's gonna go in front of cameras. He's the guy who's gonna go different places to talk to people. He is your very honorable, very top of the line guy who's going to do the good things. On the other end, you've got Josh Worth, who's your super spy, super badass guy that's going to be telling people what is up and where you're going to go. And the last one is Aberdeen Meta of Clan Wolf, who is your evil scheming minister. That's what he is supposed to be. Your evil scheming minister. And he is supposed to have that look to him. The guy that the first thing that he did when he got the position for Clan Lore Master after saying, Alaric, you are now Ilkhan, is turn around, go to Gucci and say, like, I want 60 suits. Tailor-made, top quality, now. Go.
Okay, Patrick Bateman.
Exactly.
He needs
He
a
is-
tweed suit. first
he is
collection.
not he's not supposed to be a nice guy. He's not supposed to be a fun individual to have around. But if you need to have, your entire thing schemed out for 50 years, he's gonna be your guy.
Wait, so you're saying we should not look up to this guy like he's everything bad about he's everything bad about stock trading, Ivy League graduate lawyer dudes. We should not idolize him. Congrats, you just radicalized a whole subsect of the battle.
Let's see Paul Allen's dire wolf.
Let's see Paul Allen's dire wolf.
He's probably confused me for that dickhead out. He's probably confused me with that dickhead Victor Davion.
That's the kind of character he's supposed to be. Exactly. He is supposed to be the actual politician in the room. Like Alaric Alaric is your big leader and you're a fantastic dude at the top. This is the guy who's going to go to Alaric Khan and say, okay, today you are going to go around and kiss babies. I don't want to do that. I am a mighty warrior. No, you're going to go kiss babies. That's what you do today. It's in the agenda. It says right here. You're going to go do that. We're going to take very nice pictures of you doing that too. That's the idea behind that character. A guy who will be telling Alaric how to be a first lord. Because right now he's a warrior. He's a warrior king. He's sitting on this throne of bones. He wants him sitting on a throne, a fancy, comfy little throne. And when the cameras are rolling, he's going to be the most wonderful person in the inner sphere. And every single person is going to want to join the Star League because of that.
Then the cameras go off, and this guy's like, "Did you know I like to dissect proto Mechwarrior brains? Did you know I'm utterly insane? You're really funny, dude. That's funny. No one goes to New Dallas anymore."
We've got Stephy Chistu, Khan of the Jade Falcons, with art thanks to our friend Real Mech is Love. Her spiky dyke haircut sadly disappeared with the redesign. I'm sorry. She now looks
Whoa! She has a sword. That's a very impressive short sword she has there. Indeed. Yes, it's the sword.
Yes, she has two swords. Two very good swords.
Oh.
I see.
Two knives and one saber.
So there's a bigger write-up for her in the end because she
exactly
does
a
a lot of
katana.
stuff. So
two of those
I
little
bet she
tiny
does a lot of
seppuku blades.
I bet she does a lot of stuff. I can think of a lot of stuff we could do, her and I, with those swords.
exactly.
Simp.
But yeah,
I'm just saying, he put it on screen. I had to go with the bit.
It's all good.
The Mongol warriors of Melvina Azen, they're not gone because there's no way you could disappear an entire sub faction and sub mentality.
Oh
of the
yes,
clan,
you
but
can.
Yeah. But what they're doing is that everybody that's still aspires to be a Mongol warrior is going to be turned into, you guys are the frontline galaxies. You guys are the big tough guys that are going to win wars for Jade Falcon in the Star League. You guys, you go and commit the war crimes because you're the badasses. So basically they're manipulating the Mongol warriors to remain Mongol warriors, but, not start murdering civilians anymore. At least not your own civilians. If they murder the Liao citizens, man, it's not a big deal. Just the Liao citizens. But that's the goal of where our Jade Falcon friends are going. And here's the other Rorschach. I went with a Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld look for him. He doesn't ask for Bob and Vagin. He doesn't need to. The women, they come to him. So he's supposed to be the oldest of the Galaxy Commander, so it works. I already had a Rorschach that was Indian, so I went with as Indian as I can be for this one as well.
He looks like the Indian Matrix guy, the guy that did the movie that's like Neo, but a fucking Indian dude.
Oh, I mean, there's tons of cool Indian actors out there that we could play with. honestly. I mean, at first I wanted to take that one because there's a Cyclops in the back. That is
Fidelis
definitely
Castro.
a Cyclops. That is
a
a
Cyclops. Yeah, that's a Cyclops mech.
But he doesn't look. I mean, here he looks, very average. Here it's fucking Sergeant Slaughter as an Indian guy.
Hating. Jeffrey Cuddles Trouser said Fidelis Castro.
No.
Dear gods.
That one I had problems with.
He got it.
I love it. Semper Fidelis Castro. I love it.
God damn it.
This one I had problems
go
with,
back.
so I had to generate a whole lot of images. I might reuse some of them. That's a woman who dies, so that's even worse. So I had to use like 10 credits to make all
Back
those
to the
images.
blonde. Let me see the blonde.
I mean,
who's that-
I
who's
can't
that
remember
supposed to
why. I think I used Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee for those as well. So she came out Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee, right? This works well as a Batman character, but as anything else, I'm not sure.
No.
But that's one of the Galaxy Commander who dies because she is too much of a Mongol warrior. She dies by being too aggressive and too stupid. So she attacks the Galatian League and gets her ass destroyed by a bunch of people, by the Galatian Defense Force. She tries to run away and gets intercepted by a Mjolnir Kaz warship that blows up her dropship. So she is very dead, not just a little bit. She's very dead.
Well, tragedies happen in different intersphere states,
So I'm having a whole lot of fun. I have to be honest here. Creating characters is one of the things I love doing. I already have characters, basically. I mean, most of those characters, I've got a few here. All of those are in original characters. Some people gave me names and ideas for them, and I made them.
Roscoe Steady.
Yeah.
Boss Dog.
The entire Thunderbore clan with Roscoe Steady. Battle Armor Commander, Biker, and generally depressed dude.
My pastime is mining the coal mines.
His buddy, Bartrick Steady.
I just do it for fun.
His good buddy, Bartrick.
Instead of a Harley Davidson, he's got a fucking industrial construction mech that he just fucking tunes. It's like, yeah, I just like hearing the
And
hum of
Emeris
ice
is
engine.
fantastic. Paint job of a Hunchback 2C. This one is just great.
That's nice.
Seriously.
I always like his work. His work is
Oh,
good.
he's fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, he's the one who came up with the name for him, and then he was like, "Hey, he's gonna be an Hunchback 2C." All
his
right,
work is
let's see what
even
I can
better.
do.
Like his work is even better in real life because he uses those fluorescent paints.
Yeah,
which
he started
don't
getting me
really-
doing that shit. I've been using them.
They don't
And
really
here's
pick up
the,
very well in pictures, but in real life,
In
dude,
real
they
life,
look
it's
so
beautiful.
sick.
Oh, I know.
Here's the
I've been using
Sakan of Clan Thunderbore,
it.
Boss Og.
Hard images that go hard. He's literally me. He's who I aspire. He's who I
He's
aspire to
literally every fucking Grognard Battletech fan.
be. I want to pull up.
Over 30.
I want to pull up in my big rig, looking like him.
Have a good one.
Wouldn't you
Jeffrey.
want to pull up in
Take
a
it easy,
Dominator
Star
or a
Trek.
Thunderbolt looking like him instead?
Make
That'd
the
be
mech
even
look
more
like
of a
the Bioroid.
even more of a Chad move.
Hell
A
yeah!
combustion engine powered Thunderbolt.
No. You put a 1-ton
I
combustion
get
engine on it.
3 miles to the gallon.
No, you put a
Yeah,
one.
boy.
You have the standard fusion engine, but you put an extra IC just to have the smoke. Former law enforcement officer. He wanted a cushy job. So when the First Army group said, "Hey, we're reforming," he went like, "Yeah, I'll join. Yeah, I'll be able to get another cushy." He was the ADIC, one of my favorite acronym for a title for assistant director in charge. ADIC. Oh God. So he was a dick
Like
of basically the NCIS
He looks
of
like
the Republic of the
a
Sphere.
fatter Alec Baldwin.
Fat
Not
Jeff
an
Cooper
iron.
with air.
Fat Jeff Cooper.
like you were saying here, he's every grognard's dream.
Boss
So
hog.
basically, he was wanting to get another cushy job as like NCIS director, but you know, first he lost his Thunderbolt. He lost his Thunderbolt on Terra, fighting the Jade Falcons. So that was a bad start for him. So then he decides to go in and like, yeah, I'm going to join the First Army Group and get a cushy job. But the thing is, First Army Group doesn't have cushy job at that point. It's like, oh yeah,
I see what you did there with that acronym too.
It's
He's
a real
dick
acronym.
in the First Army Group.
Yes.
The FAG.
That's why I'm not abbreviating First Army Group anywhere.
Good choice. Good choice. Most likely. A little too on the nose there.
But yeah,
He's
the
not-
thing is, there's no comfy job in the First Army Group. So he's like, hey, here's a Dominator. Have fun. And the good thing is, he is a politician through and through. So as they got to Yori to fight the Elves horses, is that's where they have a trial of possession for Terra between the Elves horses and the Clan Wolf. He gets there, and the first thing he does is, hey, citizens of Yori, we need food, and good food, not rations. Can you deal us good food? And he starts doing that, and all the wheeling and dealing to try to, you know, make everybody comfy once they get to Yori to fight the Hell's horses. And this is part of the reason why the Wolves actually win. One, because the First Army Group are acting like the Comstar on Tukayid, so they're not playing nice or fair. While the Clan Wolf people can play nice and fair, they don't have to. And all the logistics stuff, all the defensive positions, all that stuff, this guy went ahead and made sure it was going to work. Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Fed.
Someone, Jeffrey just brought up that the blonde lady could be an ASF pilot. That would be pretty easy to do. In the Miraborg bloodline, fairly easy to do as well, because it does exist in our friends in the Ghost Bears that I haven't played with a whole lot. I've got Dahlia Becker written. I don't have her uploaded to the website. I've got Yalmer Miraborg and Dahlia Becker written up right now. I don't have a whole lot done for Clan Ghost Bear yet. No, they have one guy. Tim and All, because he was in the write-up for the Azami Brotherhood, because he's the Ghost Bear guy who converts to Islam. So he's
Inshallah.
different. Yes.
He is a bit
and he
different,
marries
isn't
he is about 50, and he marries a 20-year-old woman from
You
Arcad.
got the
You know.
blondest.
Why does he look like
whitest-looking
Paul
dude.
Walker?
He's the Muslim.
Why he gotta be a
No,
Muslim that looks
no,
like Paul
no,
Walker?
no. He's the dude that sings that song. Look at this photograph. What's his fucking name?
Dear God, it's either or. He's got Chad Kruger hair with a Paul Walker face.
Oh God! I mean, I blame the AI. That's what I'm gonna do.
No,
whenever
no,
the
no,
Fucking
that's
Nickelback.
weird.
Goddamn Nickelback, bro.
Oh, he's a fun fellow to have around, I am sure. And yeah, I mean, profession, Mechwarrior and author. That shows you what kind of character he is.
He is a
sounds
gentleman
like
and
an
a scholar.
In other words, an insufferable douche.
Probably, actually, more than likely. I mean, I only have 3 Rimward Alliance people done. I need to transfer the write-up for myself, for the character I play in my videos. I haven't uploaded that yet. We've got the leader of Al Serrano right now, another police chief. So she's police, okay? She's gonna arrest you.
Mm-hmm.
She got the job. She got the job because, well, she was the one that actually knew how to manage numbers and wasn't just a Mechwarrior. That's
Alexa
the
play
real reason she got the
Mrs.
job.
And-
Officer.
And because she could do the haka better than anyone else.
Well, you have to think. The Rimward Alliance are
You're getting a
combining clan.
double sound.
Someone's playing the video in the back. It's funny, but annoying. I don't know who. There we go. I think that's gonna
There
help.
you go. That's better.
Okay. One thing we need to know about the Rimward Alliance, we're going to do it now because we're just chatting anyways. They mix clan ideas with inner sphere ideas. So she is a trueborn Mechwarrior, technically, from the program that they have down there to make sure that no bloodline goes extinct. The main idea with Al Serrano right now in the Oregon Trade Alliance, a lot of what they do is they're trying to make sure that no bloodline goes extinct by having a genetic system like the clans do. And when a ruler or a leader of a faction dies or a section dies, they have not quite a trial, but something quite similar to try to select who's going to be the next leader of Al Serrano, leader of Al Carosas, or something along those lines. And the trial depends on what is required at the time and things like that. And every blood named, basically, or every children that of age that could participate can participate if they want to, basically. Ascarosas is the same with Molly. By, let's say, a nice guillotine, fully customized by yours truly. And yeah, I do have the record sheet for it, I think, if we click on it. Yeah. Clan SRM6, 2 clan med pulse lasers, a targeting computer, another 2 med pulse laser, and a large pulse laser on a guillotine. That is a nasty fellow.
All right, I'm logging off, guys. You guys have a good night.
Have a wonderful evening.
Peace.
Armored cockpit, armored shoulders, because I couldn't fit anything else, so I used the tonnage I had left for things like that. I mean, it wouldn't be a terrible, but the Guillotine 2C is pretty darn good as well. So, I mean, it could have just gone with the Guillotine 2C, but. And the richest man in Clan Seafox, Andrew Young, who looks totally like a clan warrior. That's his. That's what he's supposed to look like. Not really. The Clan Seafox, when Maury Hawker basically gets paralyzed after a battle, everybody's in Clan Seafox is like, "Yep, Andrew's going to be the next Khan," even though Peter Kalasa's the Sakhan. There's no way Andrew Young's not just going to walk in and say, "I've got the biggest bank account. I'm taking charge." No, he's perfectly content living in the periphery, selling stuff to the Rimward Alliance, selling stuff to the Snow Ravens, selling stuff to various mercenary groups. He's making more money doing that than, being a Khan. What's the fun of being Khan? You're making more money doing, what you're supposed to do. Start your own businesses, build factories. That's how you make money. So we are, like I said, we have a whole lot of fun with characters. Yeah, that's another original one because the first Fusiliers of Andurian didn't have a general, so I made them a general. Well, someone gave me a name, and I went with Jim Bro. He's a guy who's, the rumor is his mom had an affair with an elemental.
He looks like Anthony Nese or Tony Nese.
He does look like Tony Nese, but he'd probably be a lot bigger. Because Tony Nese is not that big,
No.
unfortunately. And I made him pilot of Perseus because Perseus representation matters. Nobody
It's
likes
a very underutilized battler mecha. This is true.
It's because it came out in the wrong time, just before the light engines came out, just before that wave of tech came out. So it's got all sorts of configs that are just not good enough. Kind of sad.
Indubitably.
I do have the write-up on the Wolverines. I wanted to do that early, but we're doing it now, I guess. With the good people of the Wolverine, living in the city of Sarah, after Sarah McEvity, on the planet of Beauty. All the planets around the Wolverine Union inner worlds are all going to have names like that, like really stupid names that nobody would actually want their planets to be named as, like Liberation. The planet
I'll be
of
right back. I'm gonna
liberation.
go get a drink.
Have fun. And I'm no longer going to be calling them the clan Wolverine. They're just the Wolverines going forward when they're in the Wolverine Union. Because they really break away from being a clan, except for the ruler still being a Khan. That's the bit that still remains. I'm probably going to redesign the symbol with something a little bit different. I'm thinking of where I'm going to do with it. There's the whole write-up on what happens. Basically, when the Wolverines are shattered, one group moves away and becomes the Clave. Other group, basically a whole bunch of civilians, become the Wolverines. They run off. They're saved by 26 Mechwarriors who don't use their names. They only use the phonetic alphabet to identify each other as. And that becomes a trait to the entire culture. I've got a section on the naming convention. Your first name is a phonetic alphabet letter. Your Foxtrot McEvity, Quebec Sobral. If you're a freeborn, you can have whatever last name you want or add originally. So a Smith, a Turner, a Sotomayor. But you're still going to have that first name, which is an alphabet letter of the alphabet. For Vatgroans, basically people who have no rights, they're basically slaves. But worse than slaves, they're grown to be, employed as labor. You've got your first name as a letter, and your last name is just your VAT product, like when you came out and what's your batch number. So, like I said, I want them to be dehumanized. I find this to be even more dehumanizing than what the clans did with removing the last name. Here, you don't really have a first name. Like I said, it gets progressively worse, right? And that's the way I want the Wolverines to be represented as, in a way. I want them to be... I want people to read them, and, you're going to have the people... I'm sure there's going to be people. There's bound to be people. If enough people start playing or reading my stuff, there's bound to be people at some point who are going to be like, yeah, I really identify with the Wolverines. And I'm going to be like, I'm not sure how you do it. Hey, Elkite showed up. How you doing, mate?
I spent more time trying to get this to work than I did walking home. So yeah,
this is weird
I'm
because
feeling pretty good right now.
Denki was just like, yeah, I just had to click, then it worked. StreamYards is weird.
I have Australian internet.
Oh yeah, that's true. Rip your life. I'm sorry to hear that you have both.
Yeah. I'm currently using my tablet as a USB tethering to my phone's Wi-Fi hotspot, and that's better than using the router.
I don't understand how they can be streamers from Australia.
They'd probably pay a lot of money for internet connectivity.
Well, they might use SpaceX's, something X or whatever that Elon's selling. It's expensive, but it works. So,
well, PayPal is free for us to use. So why not other things? Oh, okay. Some catharsis playing the evil people, and we're not even going to talk about the word.
Well, you're the Blakist here, so don't worry. The Blakists are part of the Wolverine Union.
Yes, I am.
Like the Wolverines, they're really not nice people, okay? The Wolverine Union, they've got the Society and the Blakist working as their scientist arms. That's the scientists they have in the Wolverine Union, is the Blakist scientists and the society people. So do the math how evil they can be. So there's a reason why they grow entire, batches of people without any remorse. Basically, I'm going to do a quick rundown of their history while we're messing with this here. They get to an seemingly uninhabited part of space. They find a planet that's got higher than normal gravity. It's got a pretty thick atmosphere, but it's the best they can do. They've got no resources left in their jump ships that they have. They have to land. When they land, they notice that there's terraforming equipment on the planet that's thinning the atmosphere and improving the quality of the water. They don't ask questions because they don't have the opportunity to ask questions, and they start building their stuff. 6 months later, they meet a group of scientists from what they call themselves as the Periphery Republic, and they show up and they're like, well, you are colonizing a world we wanted to colonize. We will welcome you with open arms. We are very nice people. Because that's how creepy people generally do their trick, right? And they start building the thing they build in order to make sure that they have the population required to run the whole thing. They build a massive array of iron wombs, and they start mass producing kids. That's their idea here. And when for the next 30 years, they just mass produce children artificially to just have a workforce and have people and have everything that they need. And at the end of that 30-year period where they do that, they actually meet the leaders of the Periphery Republic, which is apparently the Amaris family. Oops. They might have been evil to begin with. Amaris in Exile, really happy to learn that iron wombs exist.
How many good cultures do you think there are that are playing both sides of one of the biggest conflicts, longest lasting conflicts known to man? The Periphery and the Star League. Oh, like just look at Mac from Always Sunny. Outright admitting that he's playing both sides to always come out on top. That was what Stefan did. And no one's going to say he was Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, no, he was a genius. He did everything he needed to do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, yeah, of course. But I mean, but I am saying no one playing both sides of a conflict is ever going to be Mr. Nice Guy. And that's what the Amaris was doing.
So the Amaris meet with the Wolverines after the Wolverines are completely indebted to them at that point. And they're like, we like that iron womb idea. That's a very nice idea. How about we start building them? Oh, a single iron womb? No. You know that huge array you made? Let's mass produce those big arrays.
Yeah.
Every planet is going to have tons of those arrays. And unlike the eugenics system of the clan, which is like, okay, we're going to take the very best of this and the very best of that. It's, hey, we've got genes. Let's do something. So it really leads to a 3-layer societies. You've got the true descendants, the real humans, the bloodborns. Those are the true top of the top, basically. I mean, they're born of a mother and a father. They can trace their lineage either to, a member of the Rimworld Republic or a member of the original colonists on that Wolverine surviving group. I mean, they are the top of the top. Under that, you've got the Trueborns, which are your warrior caste. Those are the ones who go by the eugenic system. You're going to take the best of this and the best of that and make, designer babies meant to be soldiers. So those still exist, only Mechwarrior and elemental phenotypes. No ASF phenotypes. They're regarded as second-class citizen, but, since they're the actual military, you're not going to, bug them too much or be too mean with them, right? That wouldn't be a very smart idea. And at the very bottom of the society, you've got your vat groans, which are just your, like I said originally here. They're going to be mismatched. You just take genes, put them in the iron womb, make a baby to fill up a population quota. They have barely any rights. They're workers. They're farmers, miners, factory workers, generic infantry. You need like, we need to raise a regiment of infantry. Okay, well, those guys are infantry now. Don't ask any question. You just grab them and do whatever you want with them. So these are your bottom of the society until later on, where you've got the Bioroids, who are literally flesh puppets. They're bodies you grow in an iron womb for 5 years, put them in a mech, and have someone else pilot the mech for them, basically. So that would be a step down in that 3-layer society. I mean, at that point, they're not really human because they've got no eye or brain function, anything like that. And I'm not sure I'm going to have to workshop this. I have a feeling, or I would want probably the Vatgroans to have no sexual organs, no nothing. They're just, they're grown to be workers. They're not meant to reproduce. They're not meant to be even viewed as human. They're just androgynous kind of mismatch of technology.
Transjemhadar.
Jem'Hadar are a good representation of that.
What did Hitler mean by this?
What was the other one? The Neo Sapiens in Exo Squad. Same kind of deal. They're not meant to be anything other than meat for the grinder, basically. So. What happens afterwards? They have a good 100 year where they just grow the population, grow the industry, grow everything. By the early 3000s, they already have spies and a few people like that, and they learn of the clans wanting to invade the inner sphere. When they do that, well, it's time to, start making a plan to get back at the clans and get back at the inner sphere. That's their goal at that point. So they start sending people to the inner sphere to start infiltrating, start getting into places, start sharing information, and cause other issues. When the clans actually they've got agents on both sides of the border, and they manage to control the information a little bit, both from Comstar and the clans. So basically, they're the ones who tell the clan, like, hey, it'd be a very nice idea if you invaded Trellwan. Trellwan sounds like a great planet to attack. I mean, it's right there in your invasion path. Sounds really good. Oh, the Prince of the Federated Commonwealth is there. That's so sad. They didn't manage to capture him, but, what could have happened in this case? Will we have gene cast? Probably. I mean, we can go. I mean, like I said, I want it to be very different from what we have in the inner sphere and everywhere else. So that's a good thing to go with. So
at least you're not taking a leaf out of Brian Young's book and going with the sex worker cast.
No, I am not going down that path at all.
No.
I've got rules that I wrote. I can't remember where I put them. It's on the website. I mean, I've got a set of rules I wrote for how I'm going to write and I want people to write. Things can be risque, but never cross into full adult content. Things like that. Your target audience are late teen to early 20s. I know that's no longer the real target audience of Battletech, right? But that's what Battletech started as. And I think it's a good target audience to go with. Because it not only does it remind us of that old school Battletech, but it restricts you enough to not go in that George R.R. Martin kind of way of incest everywhere and all that stuff. I'm also making it clear.
How else will Brian Young get the audience? That massive audience he has.
I also have that clear rule here. War crimes are a thing, but we're not glorifying or promoting that. Bad guys do war crime. The good guys are there to stop the war crimes. So your good guys stop the war crime. The bad guys commit the war crime, and the bad guys get what's coming to them for committing bad war crimes. I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Now, there's an interesting thing about the bad guys and war crimes and such. Me being the Blakist here, did you see any of the things that Ben Rome wanted to do with the, particularly the Pacus Venatori, but also the Blakists in general?
I don't think so. I haven't dug enough into what the Blakists were
Right.
supposed to be compared to what they ended up being, unfortunately.
Well,
But I
that's
mean-
the thing. They hoped to be what they ended up being, but behind closed doors, they weren't happy about it. They were undertaking it as a sort of a solemn duty to force the inner sphere into unifying against anything at all, even if it was themselves.
What I want to do, a lot of those factions, a lot of those things, okay, maybe not some of them, but for the Blakists, I kind of want to go with your Blakist Nightmare idea as a second Blakist idea. So there's the Blakists, that the actual insane Blakists who wanted those actual things to happen, they went to the Wolverines. The Blakists who were like, yeah, well, maybe it was a little bit too much what we did, they'd go with the other group of Blakists.
Apollyon said it was too much, but Apollyon said it had to be too much, or else it wouldn't work. That was the point. And I just thought it was interesting to like bring it up on anywhere I can.
I mean,
the
it's a
Blakists
good
did what
idea.
they did.
I mean, it's a good
As a
idea.
sort
And
of
it's
a
something we can
solemn-
easily integrate in this.
They hated what they became, but they knew they had to become it.
What I'd want to
after
do
the
is the
jihad
people
ended,
who
or the kerfuffle, as some people try to call it instead. They were actually going to write that the Mane Domini were removing their implants.
well, that's what they were saying when I read a few of the other things. When they met the guy who made the Celestials, when he met up with the Republic of the Sphere, he had all his implants taken off, things like that. But I mean,
Yeah,
the people,
well, of
the people
course,
the Wolverines would
Devon
want
Cortland he had to.
the people the Wolverines
had to
would
get
want
his-
to hire.
His implants
They're the
cut out.
crazy ones, because the sane ones who want to, maybe not go too far, they're not going to support their idea of vengeance and destruction of all of the clans and make sure the inner sphere falls apart completely so they can take it over. That would be the people they want to recruit, is the people that are just that insane. Same thing with the people in the society that they're recruiting. They're not going to recruit the nicer people in the society who are like, we want to advance science to a new height. They're going to go with like, yeah, we want to be able to turn people into crabs because crab people are cool. Those are the kind of people they'd want to hire.
So you're taking the most highly evolved versions of humanity.
Exactly. So that's the idea here. So, I mean, those kind of factions, the society itself, I already add them in the write-up for the Oregon Trade Alliance, where the Oregon Trade Alliance rescued a bunch of people from the society, but they're all the people in the society who are like, we're never building a weapon ever again. So there are a bunch of scientists in the Oregon Trade Coalition who are literally there developing new plants, new ways of purifying water, a more efficient fusion engine for cities, real civil engineer kind of guys. Super intelligent, super good at their job, but they're never going to build a weapon ever again. And they're basing their entire society off the Quakers because Quakers are cool. They've got cool hats. Yeah. I think the idea of having more like dichotomies between the Wolverines and what is in the actual inner sphere is not a bad idea. I think it's a good idea overall. Battle of Tukayid, the clan get beat up. Then the inner sphere tries to set up a second Star League. That kind of pisses off the Rimworld Republic because they don't like the word Star League. So they make sure that it's going to collapse. That's their whole idea in that period for the inner
Flashback
sphere.
of entire regiments of Puma tanks.
You know, they're going to kill the smoke Jaguars, but that's all the Second Star League is going to do because we're going to make sure they don't stick around. The Wolverines, on their side, they rescue Clan Burrock because they were really close to their dark caste, you know, the real story of the Clan Burrock. But while Stahl Adder is trying to forcefully absorb them, well, the Wolverines build a giant underground railroad, and they grab a whole bunch of Burrock people, a whole bunch of dark caste, bring them over to the Wolverine homeworld, and give them 3 worlds in the outer rim, outside of everything. But here's the worlds you can settle on. We're going to give you all sorts of new cool tech that we have. We're going to let you use our giant Iron Womb system so you can rebuild your Toman and everything. We're really nice people. Even though we're called the Wolverine, we're nice people. And the Burrocks don't really have any other choice at that point, so they get absorbed, but not by Clan Star Adder. Well, part of them get absorbed by Star Adder, but a whole bunch of them just get moved over to the Wolverine territory. Dino Riders with Megaphone and Cybernetics. Yes. I was playing around with that at some point just to see how we could make that work in Battletech. It doesn't quite work, but it'd be funny. And, you know, why not? At some point, if we want to go real crazy, we could go real crazy. They then rescue the Fire Mandrels from also being, you know, almost destroyed. Once again, what they do is they don't grab the warriors. They don't grab the top people, but all the labor caste, the scientists, the techs, all the lower caste people, they make a giant underground railroad with tons of ship them over and make them just disappear. Isolian, while they were going to get killed by Goliath Scorpion, well, they do the same thing. Steel Viper, I'm not sure why they're recruiting them because they're absolutely incompetent at every single thing they do, but they still get rescued. And finally, the hardest people to actually rescue would be Clan Blood Spirit, because Clan Blood Spirit doesn't want to deal with anybody else. But, you know, they give them what they can, basically. For those, they literally kidnap them rather than actually trying to save them. So we have a whole bunch of clans being re-equipped and rearmed, being given all sorts of territories, probably more than they had originally in some cases. So in these here, all of those clans, there are those 5 clans? Yeah, 5 clans. They're all viewed as 100% expendable. They have, if they die, they die. It doesn't matter at all to both the Wolverines and the Rimworld's Republic in Exile, because they saved them, so they own them at that point. That's how they view it. Those clans probably don't view it that way, but that's how they're going to be treated by everyone. So they're going to have a significant force of number of people, but the problem they have is that they haven't fought anyone in 300 years. The people who actually fought wars and actually fought people, they're all those clans that they're considering expendable. So when they actually get into a fight, that particular giant army of all sorts of people is not going to be able to do very good at first. The only thing they're going to be good at is logistics, opposite of the clans. Like we said at the really start of the stream, they're really good at logistics. Their naval assets and all that stuff are fantastic. They've got super jump drives that give them 10 times the range of a regular jump drive. So they can move around crazy.
Ah, so they got the corporate ones.
And they've got different technologies to quickly recharge them. They're building, as soon as you get to a system that you're probably going to be reusing for recharging in the future, first thing they do is build massive recharge stations to ensure that things go really quick in movement. So that's why when I'm writing stuff, I'm going to be like, yeah, the Clan Isolian and part of the Wolverines are going to strike the Goliath Scorpion. While this is going on, there's a group of Blakists that attack the Rimward Alliance. And at the same time, the Fire Mandrels and Blood Spirits are attacking the Raven Alliance. And all the bad guys are coming from like around here. Because they know what they're doing. That's the difference. They've got infiltrators in a lot of places. They're working on taking down different things through those infiltrators at the same time. Not at the same scale Mini's doing with Resurgence, which is the infiltrators are really everywhere and really bad. Here, it's a little bit more nuanced, but they've got intelligence agents just about everywhere. Alexander Asek in the Federated Suns, as an example, he's a Wolverine asset right now. When New Certus was attacked by the Liao and they killed his parents, he was spirited away to the Wolverine's homeworld, or the Rimward Alliance homeworld. He fell in love with one of the Amaris's daughter because he's a kid, literally. And he's basically sold his soul to the Wolverine Union, and his goal is to make the Federated Suns collapse. He's going to try real hard at that. And yeah, having nuance and more good and bad guy is not a bad idea. I understand that, and even in what I'm writing, I mean, some of the Wolverines are going to start realizing that they're doing, they're not doing very smart things. Jordan Amaris, the youngest prince of the Amaris family, he's going to start fighting. He's going to do a few different campaigns, and he's going to get captured at some point, and he's going to go Felon Kell at that point. He's going to just turn on the Wolverines because he's going to see like, oh, well, living in the inner sphere sounds pretty good. Hey, people are actually free. That's new. That kind of look.
It begins.
But the Wolverines, there's going to be different things going on. There's a Grand Crusade who's brewing in the Federated Suns with Leo 21. A big chunk of that is the Wolverines going like, let's just push the Christian to their limit and see where it goes. And where it goes probably won't be pretty. Probably not jihad pretty, but not going to be pretty at that point either. There's different things that are going to be moving around. And I'm starting to get more things figured out at the same time. So we have a lot of moving parts already. So, I mean, there's quite a few different things going on. I've got some fiction written. I've got more bios written. I'm writing, in between work assignment at works, I'm usually able to write like a bio every couple hours. Depends on how busy we are. Usually between calls or between tickets that I have to process. So there's, I'm able to fit in the work that way. So it's fun to give me something to do at work other than read a book. That's what I used to do all the time in between assignments. Now I've got something a little bit more constructive, let's say, that I can do while I'm at work. So it's a lot of different things. And this year is the start of another set of the timeline where the Magistracy of Canopus is going to get in trouble, mainly because Ari Humphreys, from the Duchy of Andurian, his wife dies. Ilsa Centrella dies because when she learns her daughter dies and her husband's, actual boyfriend goes crazy, Dao Shen, well, she also kind of goes pretty insane, and her elf just fails. Ari Humphreys is with her as she dies, where she reveals pretty much the whole deal. The fact that she had an incest baby with her brother, and the fact that the Magistracy of Canopus is just an awful place full of crime and corruption, which is what it's supposed to do,
And human trafficking.
Well, that's a big part of it, where a lot of people, human
As long as
traffic.
they've got a piece of paper saying it was consensual.
The term of services says
The Disney term of service.
so. He
Yeah.
Harry Humphreys, when he gets told all of that, kind of goes, "Well, I don't really like that. Actually, I really don't like that. Maybe I should do something about it." And he basically stakes a claim to the magistracy of Canopus because, well, he was the husband of the magistrates. Isolde Centrella, that brand new character who's perfect in every single way, that's a journalist, that's also a Mechwarrior, and you know the drill. She's actually a Wolverine infiltrator, purpose-built for that. Basically, they took gene material from the Centrella family to make a perfect Centrella, just sent as an infiltrator. She's the one that they want to elect because she's perfect. You know.
Did you hear about my Ashley Centrella alt history thing?
Yes. I'm not going to go that far. It's funny, but a bit
that was
too
pretty
much
funny,
for my
I
rules.
thought.
Yeah, it is funny, but it's a bit too much for
A
what
bit
I'm
too
wanting
much
to
for
write.
actually describing on a public forum at the moment.
Well, basically,
It says
Harry Humphrey
It
says
says
no.
the bad D word.
Lots
Yeah,
of
it
false
says the
flags
naughty
attack.
D word,
Those
so
are
I'm not
going to be
going to.
well. It's not going to be false flag attacks. It's the Wolverines. The way they're going to act is more a case of we're going to drive the Kurita to attack this planet, then we're going to drive the Lyrans to go attack these people. So they're actual attacks. They're not false flags where they disguise themselves as someone else. Their infiltrators work on getting people in trouble with each other. While the actual military of the Wolverine Union is conquering planets because they need food. The main reason the invasion they're doing right now is because they need tons of food and they don't have it. It sounds weird and very basic, but their entire cluster of worlds is around a quasar, and the quasar changed cycle from a cycle where it was not pulsating a lot, it was just there, everything was growing properly. The quasar shift, and basically you've got permanent sun at 120 degree on most planets all the time. You don't have food. You need food. That's what they're most worried about, especially since they have a massive population. Opposite of the clan, once again, I'm doing a lot of opposite of the clan with the Wolverines. Opposite of the clans, they have a population that probably is equal to a inner sphere state on like 30 worlds rather than 600. So they have issues.
Right.
Harry Humphreys is kind of pissed, as I was saying. Basically, he gets laughed out of Canopian Central Comedy because he's a man, you know. But as he goes out, he just releases every single bit of dirt that he has on the Canopius cartels to the general public. Every single bit of it. To all the major media outlets in the inner sphere. That gets the Canopians in a bit of trouble. People get kind of mad because of slavery, illegal drug trade, and human trafficking. That can cause some people to be mad. And the general population of Andurian...
consensual.
The general population of Andurian is on the side of Harry Humphreys.
That's like their job.
The New Star League condemns them. The Free Worlds League condemns them. The Rimward Alliance condemns them. It's all people who don't like the Canopians to begin with, so it doesn't help. But you know, they're getting condemned by a whole bunch of people. Harry Humphreys basically begins an invasion of the Magistracy of Canopus at that point, with Eagle-class frigates named after albums or songs from David Bowie, because I don't know why I decided randomly that everything Harry Humphreys is going to do is going to be related to David Bowie. All their mechs that I'm going to build for Andurian are going to be named either after alts of David Bowie or names of his albums. Because
is he going to have the Goblin King wig for when he makes public appearances?
Oh my god, that would be. I'll have to redo a picture of Harry Humphreys with the massive Goblin King wig. That will be perfect. Thanks for the inspiration. That'll be even better. And I mean, I've already got Jack Dresden, who basically thinks 20th century Terra is the most awesome thing ever. Well, not Terra. 20th century America is the most awesome thing ever. I can really have Harry Humphreys just be like, I like David Bowie. And have him be an autistic David Bowie fan 1,000 years in the future. Which can...
Did you choose the name Barry Humphries for a particular reason? Because
Harry Humphreys is
that's
the
just
real name of the character.
comedian.
It's the real name of the character, Harry Humphreys.
Yeah, but did you choose that name?
No. The Humphreys family is in charge of the Duchy of Endurian since forever. They're the first people who... They're actually the people who... the first time the Magistracy of Canopus was a massive pirate realm, he's the Star League general who went in and was like, no, you stop. And he's really...
Because, like, you know about Barry Humphries, right? Like, Dame Edna and such. Yes?
Oh, God. It's airy, but, you know, close enough.
Yeah, Dame Edna is actually a guy named Barry Humphries. He's an Australian.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Of course he is. Hello. The voice of the shark in Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm. So I am trying to give stuff to do to everyone in everyone. It's difficult, and especially when I start writing a character, and I'm like, okay, he's related to this, this, and this other character. I don't have bios for those three. Well, I guess I've got that to do now. So the progression is linear. It's working, but there's a lot of work. Doing those maps here, that took me about half a day to do. I mean, I did 3 maps overall. The first one was like a test map, and it kind of blew in my face. The other 2 kind of worked. I mean, this is the Inner Sphere in 3155, which is very different than it was at the Ilklan trial. And we see some powers growing. With the Lyrans are growing quite a bit. The Free Worlds League is consolidating. The Fed Sons have retaken their lost lands. Liao took a beating. Kurita took a beating.
Okay.
So we've got things going on.
Hell's
For House
Horses
Kurita, I'm not
didn't really
100% sure
lose
where it's
much.
going to... Sorry?
Hell's Horses didn't really lose much.
They lost 3 worlds. Lost Trelwan. They lost...
Funny.
Wilson, Trelwan, and... No, Wotan. Wotan, Derf, and Trell. They haven't lost much, but they're on the back foot right now.
They've been on the back foot for decades.
That's a sad state of affair. But I mean, I am giving them a big fight with the wolves. So they're fighting the wolves, and they're doing what they can. They bring 3 galaxies to fight the wolves on Yori for a trial of possession over Sol and Terra. They lose it because Gottfried Emiro is about to die, so he decides to go in a blaze of glory in a duel against Alaric Ward. Folk Lessenera is really not happy about that, but that's what happens. They go back to their territory. It does take them a little bit. Folk Lessenera starts planning to invade the wolf space again. They start getting it by the wolves, not the wolves, the Ghost Bear. Ghost Bear start putting some pressure on them so they don't attack the wolves again. While the Lyrans are basically cutting a swat through Jade Falcon territory and retaking those 3 planets. And it will probably be a case of, well, next map, well, they've lost like this section of their territory. I kind of want I don't want the Ellsworth to join the Star League, but I might have them join the Lyran Commonwealth instead. And become like the clan protectorate of the Lyran Commonwealth.
That might go over even worse.
Wait, another one?
How bad would you want them to be? I mean, the Bears could keep putting pressure on them and they could start losing worlds on this side. That would make sense. Jade Falcon are too busy rebuilding. They can't attack the Hellsworth. They're busy rebuilding and busy making sure the Lyrans don't cut through their territory again.
See,
They've also been reverse decimated.
That's a big part of the problem, right? So you've got, I mean, the people who can really threaten the Ellsworth right now are the Lyrans and the Bears. Those guys up here, I don't think they're going to do much.
what you
right?
could do is have Hell's Horses take territory from those regions up there. And Folk Lacenera eventually does something retarded, gets replaced, and Peter Cobb is the one who basically has to put on his Hell's Horses version of the Vlad Ward pants to actually rebuild the Hell's Horses to make them less retard and asshole.
I mean, that would be possible. There's different ways. I haven't thought out what I'm going to do with them. That's like I said, I thought like maybe I'd have them join the Lyrans. I don't want them joining the Star League because I don't want like all the clans to be Star League. That would be too simple.
But that was their purpose in life.
If they were to join, it would have to be. It couldn't be under Folk Lacenera.
No.
The earliest it would have to be would be Peter Cobb, and that would be more of a. He sees things differently than Gottfried and Folk, and actually wants to have the clan Hell's Horses survive and thrive. So he could end up looking to petition to join and for protection purposes. And to use that time to rebuild, because otherwise you got the Lyrans that will end up devouring them, or the Ghost Bears that will end up devouring them. And if they join, that means that the Ghost Bears can back off on the Hell's Horses and go back to putting pressure on the Creetans, or the Ghost Bears could absorb the Azami Brotherhood, or use a corridor to fuck around with the Fed Sons.
I have a few different ideas going on right now, especially with what I've written, especially with the Raven Alliance, what what their con decided to do. That'll be a fun secret. I'm going to keep that secret at least until next big meeting. Talking points. Cameron Cultist. It's true. Comstar was a mess. They rushed the Jihad. They rushed a whole lot of stuff with them, and that really didn't help them, I would say.
Comstar was on a ticking, or on a finite. They had an expiration date after Tuckied and Operation Scorpion. They were on a ticking. They were on a.
Wait, Scorpion was Comstar? I thought that was the other guys, Red Robe boys.
Operation Scorpion was inside Comstar. That was Percentor Mori. No, Waterly.
Yeah,
Percentor Waterly.
yeah, Mindo Waterly, the bitch that started the whole problem. 3052, never forget.
But honestly, if we look at the Ellsworth, I could see them losing all of those worlds at the top here to the Lyrans. That whole section down here, probably still to the Jade Falcon and the Bears. They'd probably split that in a bit as well. Like they'd be like really hurting. And
that would be impetus for them to
start putting their big boy pants for once, rather than the
no,
Mongol warrior pants.
no. The Mongol warrior pants would be probably pulled off of them again by Jade Falcons, but no, the impetus for them to try and petition Star League would probably have to be around the time that the Lyrans are taking that upper section while the Ghost Bears are pounding on them, because
all the while the Wolverines are just causing trouble all over the place at the same time. That's the other thing going on. I mean, what I have a fun idea here. Like, Wolverines are like infiltrated everywhere. They're trying to start fights with everybody. They haven't even messed with the Ellsworths because they consider them a potential recruit in a near future, rather than a target in the inner sphere or in the clans. They see them as a recruit, like the Burroks, the Isalians, or all of those guys. Like, they expect them to fail and to grab what they can from them and bring them over, rather than either trying to undermine them for real. That'd be a weird underneath thing going on here. It just came to mind here that this could be something going on. There's gonna be another big fight too, all the way up here. Right now it's not colored because I don't think they've colored it on the main thing. The clan Homeworlds, all over here. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them, but I kind of want the Wolverines to just go in and just destroy them. Like, they're completely unready for anything that's going to come and attack them, because they're like, well, the inner sphere is busy fighting each other. We're in our own thing. We are the great coyotes, the great star adders. We are perfect and good and wonderful. And the Wolverines are just going to smash into them while the third Star League is going to send them messages saying, like, yeah, there's assholes in the periphery that are worse than you trying to take over everything. And they're going to be like, no, we are the coyote. We are the best. Hug. And then bad things start happening.
Everybody in the Khan Coyote knows Kung Fu.
No, the Count Coyote are all Indians.
Who killed Starcap and Alex?
No, no, that's Smoke Jaguar and Nova Cats. They're Indian Indians, and not fake Indians like the Ellsworths, who are like cosplaying as Indians. I mean, the two mechs that we know from them are like what, the Spirit Chanter and what's the other one? The Night Chanter and the Spirit Walker. The rebuilt Black Knight and the rebuilt
2C.
The Black Knight 2C and the Crab
Black
2C.
Knight,
Yeah,
which is a problem because it has hands but a particle cannon.
well, that's because it's early clan tech. We need a lamb named Starman. Yes, the Starman from the Duchy of Endurian.
That would definitely fit with the David Bowie stuff.
Oh yeah, that's why he's saying it.
Yeah.
And you know, when it's transformed into the airplane mode, it really looks like a star. Yeah.
And is he
I
waiting
just
in
have
the
the
sky?
the image in my head of a star-shaped fighter that turns into a mech. A mech kind of shaped like the Archangel or something like that. The Celestial Omni mech kind of has that like space look to it. Now I need to, even though I'm a terrible artist, I need to draw it. I mean, that sounds like a fun thing to mess with. All right, I've been going on for 3 hours. That's 2 hours longer than I normally stream. But there was tons of good talk.
Well, I appreciate being able to be here.
Everybody that wants to join, well, I've got 6 slots because the StreamYard and I'm not paying $20 a month.
Yeah, but I mean, time-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I generally do those streams around 7 on the Sunday for personal reasons. Probably the best time for me. But I mean,
No, I understand.
I've done one every 2 weeks for a while. I might do shorter ones. I might do alternate ones on Sundays. I feel like it's a good time to have it. We've got people that can talk. We've got a whole day usually to arrange things. And it's a lot of fun to talk about Vengeance and where it can go. And just have people throw ideas at me. Because yeah, I'm able to work on stuff and I'm able to build all sorts of stuff because I've got almost limitless imagination. I'm crazy. I'm autistic. That's normal. But people throwing ideas at me is how I improve things. I mean, when Real Mech is Love threw me the idea of using the Macross mechs, the Macross battle suits, to make mechs for the Wolverines. This drove me to make 4 designs. Well, 8 designs because there's the line in the production and the command units. So this is how I operate. When Icarius sent me his profile for Icarius Ward, well, it gave me a terrible idea that I'm still plaguing him with, making Icarius Ward the Sakon of Clan Wolf. Because it could work.
It could work. I'd have to fill out his service record some more, as well as get more stuff on Aaron Fang. Plus, if it is to work, we'd have to get the events prior to it coming online to be laid out and put on into the
If
fiction.
he's in Anastasia Kerensky's galaxy, he's on the front lines and he's doing the crazy stuff like hunting down Denai Liao and all that stuff. So he's getting the top jobs there. So he's gonna have a good record, and Ottar Shah doesn't want the job because he's busy being the steward of the empire, and Anastasia Kerensky is busy wanting to be a godmother to Chance Dicker's kids. That's why she doesn't want to be a Sakan anymore. They both get that womanly urge in their 40s and 50s to have kids when they didn't have any.
So that would leave people like Billy Sender,
Billy Sender,
Clan, be the clanniest clanner of all.
Exactly. So we have fun with that.
And Icarus Ward, if he gets to the Galaxy Commander rank, and probably a couple of others, maybe.
I'm still working on getting an idea of who's who. So
yeah.
Blood Spirits, question from Jeffrey. They joined the
this.
Wolverine Union, not really by decision. They get dragged into it. And they'd probably be that group in the Wolverine Union who would be the most human of the bunch because they go back to that esprit de corps, wanting to be a good military outfit, being good people as part of the military. And they wouldn't break away from the Wolverines, but they'd be so different that they'd be like, well, yeah, we don't want to have, an entire slave caste. That doesn't jive right with us. And it would give us that group of people that are separate from your regular Wolverines. So it's good to bring it up, and thank you for bringing it up. That gives the juice going in my brain, which is what I want with these kinds of things. All right, I'm going to end the stream there. I hope you guys have a very nice rest of your day. I'll see you guys later. I've got a video tomorrow. It's going to be the Preda, and Friday the video is going to be the Spider.
I get to watch the Preda.
You get to watch the
after
Preda
the
in
stream
advance
ends.
because you are a member. Yes, Preda and Spider. Next week, I got to write the presentation, the Quad Vs, and
I
the
saw that
RPG.
one.
We're going to have fun talking about the Quad Vs. That's going to be weird. So see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for hanging out with